y'all. Yes, y'all. You know what it is. It's them kids and wives and 925s, but we are still married to the games. Episode 290. Oh my goodness. We got
Tell him, Gabe.
We got 10 weeks until episode 300, and we are so excited. Remember, if you're planning on coming to 300, let us know by any means necessary. Twitter, Discord, Facebook.
I thought you were going to give them a deadline.
Slide in. No.
Let us know by this Friday
Yeah,
or
exactly.
don't show up.
No.
You'll be kicked out.
Slide in them DMs. We want to know, because we want to have something special for you guys when you get here. And so we need to know how many people are coming so we know how many special things to get.
That's right.
Your name has to be on the list or the bouncer ain't letting you in.
That's right.
Dufresne.
Dufresne.
Tim Router.
Yes, brother man.
What's going down with you?
Oh, you know, the huge. Piper's topic of the week is her 6-year checkup at the doctor. She was a little nervous about that. She had it today. Yeah. All is good. She's not growing any additional limbs that aren't supposed to be there or anything like that, which is great. No shots, no needles or anything. So, but we had to take her out of school a little bit early. But she's been kind of amped up a little bit about it because she just didn't want to. She's kind of, I think, terrified of getting any shots or anything like that. And in this 6-year checkup, she doesn't have to. And everything is looking good. She just needs to eat more fruits and vegetables because she's on that toddler diet of mac and cheese and chicken fingers, which is pretty much what everybody else has got. So, but yes, she's doing great. We came back from our teen tween adventure at the beach in Seaside.
Oh yeah, how was your time?
It was great. We had a really good time.
Good.
We got back on Friday. And then turned the house around for hosting Easter for 22 people on Sunday.
Blip.
So it was amazing. So we got in Friday evening, and then Saturday was just a go. My family was over. Lauren's family was over. We had some friends come over, and we hosted Easter, and we had a great time. And of course, Piper loved having her cousins there and some of her friends there, and it was great. And my niece Lily is a huge Predators fan, and of course they had a game that day, and so we watched them. We watched that game while we were eating and remembering our dear Savior's resurrection, which is always fun on Easter Day.
There you
go. And I think hockey and the cross kind of go hand in hand, right? Isn't that somewhere in the Bible somewhere?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, of course. So it was a great family time. A little hectic on Saturday, running around and getting everything put together, but it all.
But you made it.
Yeah, but we made it. We're alive, so it's all good.
Nice.
Yeah, man, and just it's April, and I can't believe my girl's going to be a first grader soon. I just had to register her for next year for school as a freaking first grader, which is terrifying, man. It's crazy. So
that is a category.
It is freaking.
When you fill out the form.
Yep. It's the special school district, the freaking special school district. So, but yeah, so we did that, and she only has about a month and a half left of school, and then some summertime. So it'll be pretty incredible.
There you go.
On the gaming front, obviously I was at the beach last week, so I couldn't do a whole lot, but got back, finished the Frozen Wilds, which was great.
Nice.
There you go.
Lot of dialogue, I will say. And to be honest, I kind of
like it right there at the end, or you mean throughout?
Right at the end, just right at the end. And I'm like, skip, and we're done. So at that point, I was done with it. As you noticed on Twitter and Discord on Saturday, Piper and I picked up Far Cry 5, so I was chomping at the bit for that. So I think it was actually that night I finished the Frozen Wilds, and it was great. I mean, it's a great extension of the full campaign. So if you're just starting into it, and then you can spend quite a bit of time up in the north for this DLC, which I think is really great. I didn't even use any of the new weapons or anything. I just used my old faithfuls and did perfectly fine with it. So if you're used to your weapons, they do introduce quite a few other ones. But honestly, I didn't bother. I'm like, this is all working. There are some new beasts, some new mechs, as it were, and some of them are pretty challenging, but I still did fine with my the weapons that I was using before.
So did you enjoy it, or was it too talky for you at the end?
I got impatient because Far Cry 5 was staring at me in the face. So when I talked to you guys last week, I said, I'd said I had to stop like right at the end where I thought was kind of an end point, and I was right. It was fairly close to the end. I had like a few other things to do and then a boss battle, and that was pretty much it. Yeah, no, I did enjoy it, but I think just because I knew Far Cry 5 was right there and I really wanted to get on it. I think I kind of rushed it a little bit. But and honestly, there was a lot of dialogue that you can go through, and if you'd like to do that, by all means. But you get to learn a lot about the Banuk and all of their traditions and cultures. So I say go for it. But yes, but finally digging into Far Cry 5, and I've got my morning crew back. I'm finally streaming.
Nice.
I'm back on YouTube. Yesterday was a bit of a hot mess.
What happened?
In the middle of my stream, my router just completely crapped out on me, and I think it was kind of.
So how you talk about yourself in the third person?
Yes, I do. I enjoy talking to myself about myself in the third person. Router wants what router gets. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Router wants a better router is what he wants.
Router needs a better router. Exactly. Router had to power cycle his router, and something was going on. So in the middle of it, like 35 minutes in, it completely cut off. It took me another 20 minutes just to wait for everything and figure out what was going on.
Oh, precious game time.
I know. And then I got back up, and then 5 minutes later, I'm like, oh crap, I've got to go. And I felt bad because we had some of my morning crew was there. Arctic Warlocks was there, and he said hi, and I was like, hi, sorry, but I got to go.
Yeah, about
and
this.
So I ended up removing both of those streams, and we started fresh this morning, and it was great.
Oh, from the beginning, or
yes, I started over, and
wow.
I started over right. I started over with the secret. Spoiler alert: the secret ending.
Nice.
To show anybody who hasn't done it already, where it is and how to do it. We did that. Once that was done, we started it over again, and now we're in full swing. And so far, so good. I freaking love this. I cannot wait to just dive into this. It really was, it felt like riding a bike. Like the controls and everything was right there. I love the combat too. Like the guns feel so good. Like even just right off the bat, you have your pistol and you get a pistol and machine gun, and it just felt good. So I'm looking for my grenade launcher. I'm hoping that's in there. That would be so awesome again. But I'm fairly early in, and it's fantastic. And it's just great to be able to talk to my morning crew again. So I'm thrilled. And I'm sorry about yesterday, morning crew, but we're going to get going on this. So you're going to see me on YouTube with Far Cry 5 probably for the next month easily. So nice. I haven't looked at the trophy list yet, but I've Platinum 3 and 4, and
it's ridiculous.
I want to keep.
Is it really?
Is it really?
Yes. Well,
cool.
I thought it was.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm in. That sounds good to me because
Far Cry is one of those games too. Like usually to get the platinum, you don't have to get all the other trophies, right?
No, that's always the case. You always have to get all the trophies.
Yeah, you always have to. There's a lot. What I have to figure out are kind of the grinding ones. So that's what I need to list out, like the 30 headshot kills, things like that. That's easy. Like that throughout the campaign, you'll be able to do if you just kind of make sure that you remind yourself of that. It's probably some of the ones that I had trouble with on the 3 and 4 platinums were I think there were just some grind outs that you had to do in different areas and just making sure that I'm not missing anything as I continue on in the campaign.
Mm-hmm.
So, but Ed, man, you were right. Joseph Seed is an amazing bad guy. And so I like to call him Jared Leto. I think he looks a lot like Jared Leto. So that's what I've been in this stream. I've been calling him Jared and not Joseph. But I'm looking forward to seeing how his character continues. And all of my worries about all of that, are they really ragging on Christianity and faith? It went completely out the window within the first 10, 15 minutes. I'm like, oh, no, it's nothing like that. They're not making fun of anything other than we just need to kill some Peggies. And so that's what's happening. So it's going to be fantastic. I can't wait to take this adventure and take it with my morning crew again. And I'm super stoked. So That is it for me. I talked way too long.
No, it's all good. Christopher.
Yeah, man.
I don't really have a ton to update on the work side. We're just
all right,
busy. Yeah, we're just doing editing right now and not changing anything else about the way that we're doing the project. So there's not really much to talk about. There is this one shoot that is going to be coming up pretty soon. Well, it was going to be coming up pretty soon that I'm actually pretty excited about that we're gonna be working on. It was going to be at the end of this month, but now we're pushing it back to give us a little bit more time to prep and get ready for it. It kind of freaked me out a little bit because when they talked about pushing it back, they're like, "Yeah, we'll just do it in June." And I was like, not the beginning of June or middle of June, maybe the end of June." And then they're like, "Why?" I was like, "I'm not going to be here."
I know that's right.
I was like 300. They're like, "What?" And like, "It's just this thing. Don't worry. The point is, I'm not going to be here."
Right.
And they're like, "Okay, so they're we pushed it to the end of June right now, with the possibility of pushing into early July. So, but I'm really looking forward to that. But until that point, it's probably just going to be nose to the grindstone on the editing front and getting all that stuff squared away, and then all the pre-production stuff of this new, hopefully really cool thing that we're going to be trying to do.
Nice.
At the house, I think I had mentioned when I got the 4K TV that the plan was to put, when we bought our house, there was a television mount on the covered back patio. Mm-hmm. And so the plan was to move the TV from here out there.
I love that.
I had to buy this piece because I never had paid attention because I didn't have a TV to put on it. So when I had one, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go out there and get all the pieces to, mount to the back of the TV. And it looks like they took the pieces that were actually attached to the TV. It looks like they just unhooked the TV and took it and didn't realize that, or maybe they didn't care that I have the other piece on the back of my TV. I didn't take it off and leave it. So I looked all over the place to see if I could buy just those parts from the manufacturer, because I looked up, it has a serial number on it, and I just looked up who made it and everything. But I couldn't, so I ended up having to buy the entire set again for just the pieces I needed, which it still was on sale, so it wasn't like super expensive. But I had to wait for it to come in, and then finally it did. So I hooked it all up, and so now I have a TV mounted in the back.
Nice.
I had an extra Apple TV, so I just threw it out there, and it's been fine. I did some research to find out, how do you? I mean, obviously a TV that's outdoors versus one that's in air conditioning or all the time. Like, there's got to be difference for maintenance and whatnot and maintaining it. And pretty much everything I read is like, yeah, if you put a TV outside, just expect it to break.
Oh, really?
Like, well, like literally, the only articles I saw where they're like, yeah, make sure you buy a TV that's specifically made to be outside. Otherwise, it's just going to crap out in a couple months. And I'm just like, I
didn't know that.
Wow.
I don't feel like that's going to be my reality. One, because it's not like it's out in the elements. Like the sun can't even reach it. And it's even when it rains, it's far enough back that it's by the house and there's enough area that unless it's like a hurricane, which I'm not even going to get.
They just mean because of humidity, maybe?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of different things that it can be, but like mine's just not going to directly be in the elements. It's just only going to be affected by overall moisture in the air and other things.
Right.
But I know there's going to be things that are problematic, and I'm sure the overall lifespan is going to be less. But it's like there's got to be just routine things I could do to help maintain it and make sure it's going to get the best performance that it can. So, like, I got a cover for it, and then you have to go out there every so often and make sure that you dust it off because it can build up dust that could get inside of it and things like that, and just keep moisture away from it. And it should be fine. But I mean, if it craps out in a few months, oh well. I mean, it was the point out the whole time. It's like, but I feel like a lot of people put TVs outdoors all the time. It's like it can't be that unreliable or that big of a deal, or they can't all just break all the time because people aren't buying TVs every couple months.
Honestly, I have one outside, and I just put a towel over it with some clamps. I don't actually have a cover for it, but I also got a really cheap one just because I know that if it does break, I can just go and get another one.
Yeah, you don't want to be heartbroken. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and when I was planning to buy one for out there, it was going to be there. It was going to be something cheap, like little, maybe 30-inch, whatever. And I just, because I bought the 4K, I just like, well, I got nowhere to put this one, so I'm going to move it out there. So if it breaks, it's not like my heart's going to be broken, but I mean, it's just like, we'll just see. I'm kind of curious now. Now it's almost like a challenge. It's like, I'm going to make this thing last for 5 years, suckers. Watch this.
That's
nice.
So we'll see how that goes. Katie and Kale are on their 2-week honeymoon in New Zealand.
Wow.
Oh,
so
what?
We are watching their dog Rhodey, who when we lived with them while we were transitioning to selling our old house and finding our new one, we were all roommates together. And so our dogs got along, and so we're like, hey, we'll keep your dog for the 2 weeks. And so he's over here, and Stacy's out of town still. I had it wrong. I was thinking she came back this week. She actually comes back next Monday. So this week it's just me and the 2 dogs.
Nice.
And Overwatch League. And so it's just us just hanging out and bacheloring it up. So that's going well. We've gotten a few pictures and stuff from them. They seem to be having a blast, and I'm sure that they're going to. They're going to be doing all kinds of crazy stuff, seeing all the beautiful things that I have not seen and probably will never see.
Are they going to Hobbiton?
Yeah, they're going to Hobbiton.
Oh yeah,
man.
Yeah. So kudos to them. I'm excited to hear all about it when they get back and see all the pictures they took and whatnot. Over the weekend, I went to my mom's for Easter. I went to church and saw my dad because my dad goes to the same church that I do, and they kind of work at the church. Like my stepmom goes and helps with the kids, and my dad's like part of the security patrol. So he's walking around or whatever like that. So I saw them there, and then I went over and hung out at my mom's, had lunch, and stayed with them a little while. My sister, she got her tonsils removed recently because she's been having this thing where like she gets strep throat all the time, and apparently that's somehow tied to your tonsils potentially. Yep. So they're like, look, we just need to yank them because it's getting to the point where like we're having to give you such strong antibiotics and they're not even starting to do anything. It's going to get to the point where we can't really do much. So they had them pulled out. So she was out of it. Like she's only like was drinking her food. So she was asleep most of the time. But
I was about to say, encouragement to parents, go ahead and do that when the kids are young. It's just a different ball game when you're a grown parent and trying to have a job and all that. But when you're like 12 and have nothing else to do but sit around, go ahead and do it then.
Yeah, which I still have mine. Is that like I
still have mine.
Is it
too.
A common thing to have them take it? It's not like wisdom teeth where it's pretty common, right? It's just if you have issues.
Common. It's very common.
Oh, it is? Okay, well, there you go. Well, then yeah, I mean, I agree though. It'd be much easier to have that stuff done just like braces and everything else. Just do it when you're a kid. Because you don't want to do it later. It just gets harder and harder and feels like it takes longer and longer whenever you do it when you get older. So that's been pretty much it. I mean, it's really low key when Stacy's not here. All I do is play games for the most part. Because I mean, like I said, I think I said last week we had started watching all these Netflix shows, but I'm not watching any of them because I want to wait until she's here. Yeah. So it's like, well, what else am I going to do? I'm going to maybe watch the news a little bit and then I'm going to play games.
Oh man, so don't watch the news. I'm just kidding.
Well, every now I need to know if it's going to rain because I got to, keep that TV, make sure it stays alive,
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. So that's all I meant. I'm not like sitting there like, oh, let's see what happened in the stock trade. Well, I don't care about all that crap. So on the gaming front, I too got to jump into that old A Way Out. Played through it with Mr. Gabe Patillo.
Yes, sir.
Oh, nice.
And we got to test it out in the whole way that it works because I actually own the copy and he didn't.
That's right.
So we did the whole, hey, I'm going to invite you. And then he downloaded the game. And then we were able to play through the entire thing. And one thing that I wasn't sure about was if you played it that way, like where you played with someone online, I didn't know if it was going to do the whole like split screeny stuff throughout or not. And it still did that. So I was really excited to see that because to me, that was like part of the cool dynamic of the game. So I should have assumed that's how it was going to be, but I just didn't know for sure. So I was pleasantly surprised to make sure that it was still going to be there. And it's hard to talk about the game because you don't want to spoil anything. All I can say really is you want to play it. Like it's a cheap game. It's a really
is it cheap?
Yeah, it's like $30 brand new.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and so I will say this. Honestly, I know it's early, but it's already a Game of the Year contender for me.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, it is.
Bold.
It is.
Yeah. Yowzers.
You heard it here first.
I really enjoyed it. Like it's not, it's not open world. It's got things that, it can't compete with on some other games, but it has a really fun story. It has a really cool and in my opinion, different hook. The way that you play it together, the way it forces it to be co-op.
Yes.
And the story is way better than I was expecting. I just thought it was going to be fun to do. I wasn't expecting to also really enjoy the story as well. And I really, really did.
Nice.
There you go.
I highly recommended it.
Very cool.
And then I also bought Far Cry 5.
Yay!
And so I'm gonna start with a few of my grievances, and then I'm gonna go into my praise because I want to I'll just get them out the way because there's not very many of them.
Right,
I will say, a while back I was one of those people who's always like, man, why can't every game just first person game just control like Call of Duty? Like, why can't they just do that? And I'm not even saying necessarily the button mapping part of it, but Call of Duty has a feel, and I feel like they've perfected the feel of first-person shooter games. And I was like, well, I just kind of let it go. I was like, you know what? It must be that nobody can do it like they can, so I'm just going to let it go. And then I played Destiny. I was like, well, look, here's another person that has a really good feeling first-person shooter, but it doesn't feel like Call of Duty. It's different, but it feels really good. Far Cry 5 does not feel that great to me. It feels very loosey-goosey. Like when you start running, it feels like your stride is like 1,000,000 miles. Like you're going super fast, way faster than it feels like you should. The gunplay just feels a little looser than what I want. It all feels like it's almost there, but it's not quite. Now, the good thing is that after you play for, an hour or so, you get used to it and that all kind of goes away. And it helps that I'm not bouncing between games really. Like I haven't even gone back to Overwatch yet. Like I'm only playing Far Cry. So you get used to the way that it feels and then it goes away and you don't notice it anymore. But I don't think that they have the mechanics perfect. They're not bad. There's no like input lag or any weird stuff like that. It just feels a tad bit off to me, or it did in the beginning. Now I'm kind of used to it.
Good.
But outside of that, the vehicles in the game are horrible. Absolutely horrible. Like to control, and mainly the ones that fly. Some of the cars are really bad as well. Like oddly enough, if you drive like a van or a pickup, those handle okay. But if you drive any kind of car or you drive an ATV, they're horrible. And if you fly a plane or fly a helicopter, I would rather stick a fork in my eye. It's worst. Yeah. And there's certain missions where you have to fly a thing to complete it.
That's how I felt about Wildlands.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's just, oh my gosh. And then I posted that out on Twitter. I said like, it really sucks flying anything in Far Cry 5. And then people wrote back like, well, yeah, the vehicle stuff's never been Far Cry strong suit. It's like, they've made 5 of them. How do you not improve this if this is a known thing? So it blows my mind that the flying is unenjoyable as it is. Outside of those 2 things, I love the game. I think it's amazing. Like, and this is my first Far Cry, really. I did buy later a couple years ago when it was on a really steep discount way after it had launched. I bought Far Cry 4 and I played maybe an hour or 2. I got past the whole intro piece where you meet the protagonist or the antagonist, and then I started doing the first couple like little missions and side missions, and quickly just got to where it was the same thing. I didn't really feel too much with the controls. I did not like at all that you were forced to hunt things so that you could craft new weapons or have bigger pouches or whatever to carry more bullets. I hated that. I thought that was I don't mind if there's hunting in your game and it's a thing you can do, but being forced to do it, did not like that at all. I like this way better where it's like, hey, you can just buy perks that allow you to have these things and hunt. Like you can still hunt animals and there's rewards for it because you can go turn them in and that's how you can earn more money and whatnot.
Right.
But like if I happen to be running to another area, because 9 times out of 10, I'm not driving nothing. But when I'm running to an area and I see something, I may go off and chase it and shoot it and go and loot it, skin it or whatever. It's called looting in here rather than skinning, but that's basically what you're doing. I'll do it because it's there. But I know that I don't have to, and I like that. I like that it exists. I just don't like it being forced for my upgrade path. And I think the story is exactly what I was expecting it to be. I know there's been some, divisiveness on, the story for some people and whatnot, but I mean, I think the story is fine. It's intriguing to me. It's keeping my attention. When the story missions, if you will, really aren't that story heavy. It's really all the cutscene stuff that happens. And one thing that Far Cry 5 does that I don't think any other game that I've played has done this way is the way that their progression works is so you go to like an area if you choose. I happen to be doing it to where I go to an area and I want to finish that area before I move to another one. I'm not bouncing between areas a bunch. But the good thing is it gives you the freedom to do whatever the heck you want. You could go and you could bounce around if that's your thing. But I'm not doing it that way. So like I went to the Southwest, which oddly enough seems to be the way a lot of people went. And I don't know
why do you think that is?
Well, I know
don't
the reason.
You kind of start in the Southwest?
Well, you start kind of in the middle area. Yeah. The reason that I went Southwest is because one of the first little story mission-y areas I saw was the one where you get Boomer the dog.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, I want the dog, because the little bit that I had seen about the game before it was released is like, oh, the Boomer the dog seems very similar to D-Dog from Metal Gear Solid 5. I was like, if he's anything like that, I want that dog, because I use D-Dog all the time. And since I went that way to get him, rather than turn and go a different direction, I just kept going that same direction. So that's the reason I did it. But it just seems kind of, it's one of those weird things where, wow, the vast majority of people seem to have started Southwest. So that's kind of crazy. But the thing that it does different that I hadn't seen before is it's just a progression line. So you're building, they're calling it the Resistance, basically where you're fleshing out all the cult in that area. And every single thing that you do in the game, whether it's main mission or, quote, story missions, because they're really not all that story heavy, or side missions, or, you save a person that's captured, or you shoot animals and then go turn in their skins or whatever like that. Anything that you do in the game gives you progression on that timeline, that little resistance meter. And you build it up all the way to the end, and it just unlocks the boss fight. But as you're going through that progression, you just reach certain nodes, and when you reach that node, a cutscene will just start. Yeah. And then you'll just that's really your story for that part, for that area of the mission. That's where you get all your story content. And I kind of like that. It's a little bit annoying sometimes that it just randomly shows up. Whenever you reach the end of the meter and you unlock the boss fight, it becomes a thing where like, okay, now it's a spot on your map and you can go there at your convenience. I do kind of wish each of the cutscene things were a go at your convenience, because there were a couple times like, all right, I'm just going to finish this mission and be done, and wasn't paying attention. And that unlocked a cutscene, and now I've got to go through this mission real quick because it's doing all this stuff and there's not a save point, there could be a save point, but you've got to watch all this cutscene stuff. And after I watch all these cutscenes, well, I want to do the thing tied to the cutscene. I don't want to wait. But I like how everything that you do it's not just story missions. I never feel like I'm wasting my time. I'm always building up that resistance meter to get to the end of the next story beat. And the story to me is intriguing. I think it's interesting. Yeah. In the world that Far Cry has built, it feels believable to me. It doesn't feel believable in real life, but in the world that they've created, it feels like this could be a thing.
Yeah, right. We're not that far off there, brother.
In the sense that, like, the cult's got thousands of members if you look at the map, and the fact that, like, okay, so, like, where's the National Guard coming in and just, like, putting the stop to this? It's like none of that stuff's happening. So that all area is, like, really far-fetched. But inside the world they've built, it feels they've done a great job with the sound design, the level design. The side missions are varied and they're fun. Like, this feels like I never really could.
Like Aaron running.
It doesn't to me.
Nice.
I mean, and again, it's one of those weird things where, like, because it's my first Far Cry. I'm not saying I've heard that.
I'm just saying, sometimes with side missions.
I'm just saying, like, someone who's maybe played a bunch of all the Far Cries up till now, maybe it feels like more of the same. It's all new to me. So I have that kind of going for me, and that it all feels fresh. None of it really feels recycled to me.
Nice.
Yeah. And there's a lot about it. I mean, Tim, you've played it now, a little bit of it. So does it feel to some extent kind of like past Far Cries? Because I know you've played pretty much most of them.
Oh yeah, no. So I'm basically about an hour in. That's pretty much as far as I've gotten so far. And even just right off the bat, everything just felt comfortable for me. So a lot of the points that you're saying, I'm not feeling that way. But I'm also very used to their environment. I'm used to their mechanics. I'm actually kind of excited. Like, I didn't mind the ATV riding and all that stuff in 4, and some of those races that you had to do. Like, I actually really enjoyed them and got better at them as I did them. So, like, those aspects of it don't bother me at all. But to me, it felt just like riding a bike. It was just boom. We're back into this. We're in a new environment. We have a new antagonist. We have new missions and everything. Let's go. That's exactly how I felt as soon as we started.
And do you feel like the story stuff is kind of what really intrigues you about it, or is it more the gameplay, or is it a mixture of both?
It's kind of funny because they always load it up in the beginning. For 3 and 4, they've all, like, you usually are sitting there watching the story unfold in the first 10 minutes. This I've actually felt was a little bit shorter. And so, but you still get the same setup and you still understand what you're dealing with. And then, even like the stories didn't necessarily matter a ton to me in 3 and 4. I enjoyed the world. I Loved the hunting and the crafting part of it. I loved being able to control animals. I loved being able to bait animals. I'm going at this. It's kind of weird. I usually go a little bit more stealthy in these Far Cries too, because once you stealth kill a couple guys, you actually get bonus XP. It used to be when you did the outpost. I know in 4, if you did all stealth, you gained additional XP and you actually could level up faster. And I felt like I leveled up fairly quickly because I like to do that.
That same thing exists in 5, where if you stealth the whole thing before they ring an alarm or whatever, you get extra.
Hey, Router, when you're saying 4, do you actually mean the one after 4?
Oh, Primal?
Primal?
No, I'm saying Far Cry 4.
You mean with Pagan Men?
Yes, with Pagan Men. Yes, because Primal, to me, Primal's a one-off, and I enjoyed that, but that was a lot. That was just, it was Far Cry 4 10,000 years ago. So
interesting.
For me, 4, you never played Primal, did you?
I didn't. No, I played 3 and 4, but I didn't play. And I played Blood Dragon.
I think I have it. I should let you borrow it. I think you would enjoy it. Actually, it was a lot of fun. It was definitely Primal.
Ed played it. Ed played it for the channel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Ed, you enjoyed it, right?
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Yeah. So when I'm saying 4, I mean Pagan Men, like modern day, like it was just.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's totally. Chris, how far in are you in 5 right now?
Oh, I'm way far. Like I've already beat 2 areas.
Okay, cool. And Ed, you're probably done with it by now, right?
No. No, Chris is the one that had all the game time this week.
Yeah, like I am all in, and like I said, I started Southwest, which was John Seed's area, and then I moved over to Faith Seed's area, and
now you're in Faith.
I really liked hers. Her whole like story elements and the little weird things that they did in hers.
Yeah.
And then how the story finished out. Like I really liked her story arc, if you will, and her whole area, and having to deal with her was way cool. And so now I just got to go up to, I don't know the other guy, the redheaded guy. I don't know what something Seed. It probably starts with a J. I don't know. It's either John or Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt, something or other.
Exactly.
And then, so the reason I was kind of asking some of those things is I'm gonna throw you under the bus a little bit here, sir, because this game in particular, especially with the fact that, which as I understand it, this is a brand new thing to Far Cry. The whole like buddy thing, where like, oh, you can bring along the dog, and you can bring along this sniper friend, and you can bring along this other. This game is very much a Metal Gear Solid 5. Like they have a lot in common. And then you're talking about, I really like the stealth kills. And you're like, and I'm like, man, it blows my mind that you did not take to Metal Gear Solid 5, because this is outside of the fact that it was third person for most of it. It's a lot of the same kind of stuff. You're taking down outposts. You're taking it. Now there's no hunting. There's not that. And there's not as much of the open worldy stuff. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about the main parts. What?
Right. No, I'm with you. For me, Metal Gear was just too weird for me. Honestly,
was not that much. There's weird stuff going on in Far Cry 5. There's weird, goofy crap happening in that.
Yeah, the beginning of Metal Gear was really weird, but then it got
the first 20 minutes.
But then it got very Far Cry after that.
Yeah.
See, and that's the thing that sucks, because I wanted to play Metal Gear real bad. I think I bought it actually.
Router gave it to you.
No, I bought
that's what it was.
Borrow it. Yeah.
I couldn't remember.
No, I know. Chris remembers.
Trust me, Chris has it locked in his memory that we have not played that game and enjoyed it. We are forever, like, we've got a bullseye on the back of our...
I know it does suck, though, because if it does get very Far Cry, then that's a bummer for me, because I love Far Cry. And
me too.
But the beginning, like Ed's saying, the beginning is so weird. I was like, oh, man, if this is the whole game, I don't feel like doing this.
Right. There's something about the Far Cry games. They've got this...
and you love them already. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Both you guys,
I know there's definitely a difference. And like Far Cry's got all these tons and tons of varied side missions, and there's not as many of that kinds of stuff. Like there's not NPCs all around the world that you can go get a mission from in Metal Gear. So that part's different. I just mean specifically like the outpost parts and taking down having so many different ways you can strategize to do it, and all that part is very reminiscent of each other.
I'm with you. I could not get over that intro was just like, ooh, okay, this is just a little too...
Yeah, I got you. I didn't mean to like necessarily us linger on that point. I just wanted to review a little bit about it.
No, I totally love it. I think that's great, and I love the fact that you love it. I'm actually, with what you said with Far Cry, a lot of what you've said, I respectfully disagree on so many levels, because I've played... Like I didn't.
You
play
mean the
1 and 2.
control part? Is that what you're talking?
The control part of it. I'm like, I never had a problem with the driving. I drove a boat. I drove a an ATV, cars, trucks, and 4. We also had the buzzer, which I loved because it got you around quicker. I'm curious about the plane and how this is going to work out. So I'm actually interested to see how I feel about it as well.
Did we do the plane at E3?
What's that?
I didn't play it at E3.
I didn't play it at E3.
No,
I'm sorry. I'm thinking about PAX. We played it at PAX, and it was the part with the plane.
Gotcha.
Okay. Yeah, at E3, it was just a mission, and you were in one of the little towns, probably liberating or kind of gaining a resistance there. But it's all like Chris. I'm really interested to see if it turns you even more. Either way, if the mechanics you're not really feeling it yet. But you said you're getting used to it.
Yeah, no, like at this point, because I don't know how many hours. I'm sure there's a counter somewhere I can look. But I mean, I've played enough that I'm fine now. Like I've got it now. Yeah. Like I don't even give it a second thought now. It's just when I first came in, I was like, Destiny is the only other first person game that I've ever picked up, and from the get go was like, oh, this feels good. That wasn't Call of Duty.
See, that's exactly how I felt as soon as everything picked up. I knew how to crouch. I knew how to get the wheel. I knew like all the tutorial stuff. I'm like, yeah, I already know how to do this. Yeah. Let's just go. So it's funny just because I've platinumed 3 and 4. So I've been in this world for forever. And then getting your perspective on it, I totally get it. I think it's great. I'm just like, I've never thought of that at all. So
and that's why I mentioned the whole trophy thing, because I was talking with Ed the other day. I was like, I'm just going to glance at this trophy list, because there's a few missions I was like, because I'm clearing out everything in an area before I go to the next one. And I was like, there's a few things in particular I'm leaving behind because it requires vehicle stuff. I'm like, I bet there's a trophy tied to this. So I'm just going to go look, but not look too heavily because I don't want to see spoiler trophies. If I don't know if they're hidden or what. And there was some stuff on there. I was like, well, I'm not doing none of that. So this platinum's not happening.
Yeah, I think I know like in 4, I think there was a couple trophies that you had to get for racing. You had to get at a certain level at a certain time.
There's fishing trophies. I ain't getting no fishing trophy. Get up out of here.
See, I'm all in, man. Let's go catch me some smallmouth bass and make this happen. Come on.
But outside of that, I will say, like, I'm all in on this game. Like, it's very, in a weird way, it's reminiscent to me of when I jumped into Assassin's Creed and my first one was 4. And at the time, people were like universally like, oh, this is the best one. And I feel like I jumped in at a great time. To me, the people who are liking Far Cry 5 seem to feel like it's one of the best ones, at least from a gameplay perspective wise.
Absolutely.
And so I'm like, man, I feel great about my choice to really jump in on this one, even though I dabbled a bit with 4, but to like really be like, okay, I'm going to give this a go. And man, I'm excited. Like I keep seeing all these Hope County like t-shirts and stuff online. I'm like, why can I not find one that says Hope County Cougars? That's the one that I want. And I can't find one. So
I like
if anybody out there, if you see one, a hat or a mug or a shirt that says Hope County Cougars with the Cougar logo, tweet it at me.
Yep. I love that, man. That's great. That's really cool, Chris. I'm excited that you're diving into it. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you think. There's something about the Far Cries. They have this wit about them, but they're very clever, I think, in everything that they do, in the marketing, in just how it presents itself. And can we all agree it looks freaking beautiful? Like that Dunia engine that they use is ridiculous. And I really love the voice acting too. So far, from what I've heard, everything sounds super clean and really natural. And I mean, I'm super excited. That's really cool.
But that's it for me. Yeah, no, that's it for me. I haven't even played Overwatch this week, which is weird. But they've got an event coming up soon, so I will be jumping in. I actually messaged it. I was like, said it to somebody. I was like, when is that out? Is that out now? Do I need to play that? And they're like, oh, it's next week. I'm like, okay, cool. I got some time. Got to finish this Far Cry.
How about now?
Yeah. Awesome. So, but that's it for me.
All right, Mr. Patillo. Got that shed coming.
Slowly but surely, Bishop. Slowly but surely. You know, it's one of those things that stings a little bit. For those that haven't listened before, I've been working on the shed in my backyard, and I hired somebody to hang the drywall and mud and patch. And we had also hired him for inside the house. He did terrible. We had to fire him, so now I'm doing it myself.
No, it wasn't a friend, was it? Or was it somebody?
It wasn't a friend. It was somebody we was recommended from Jenny's mom, and it was really awkward. And
that's too bad.
Oh, I mean, like terribly awkward.
Hey, see you, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Yikes.
So wait, Ed, did you go?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, Ed!
It was funny when Tim said Gabe. I was like, what did Ed say he did?
I'm toying
forget
with
you,
it in my
Ed?
head. I'm like, do I want to sound like the guy who doesn't remember what Ed said, or do I want to be the genius that says, "Wait, we've not gone to Ed"?
Right.
Ed,
we talked
I'm
so much
so
before the
sorry.
podcast, so I was like, well, I know that his brother's not in town anymore. And blah,
I
blah,
know.
blah.
I was.
And he didn't show up early.
Exactly.
So that's
Well,
good.
And I
because
think
I
there's been
talked
a
too
handful
long.
of times where Gabe didn't go last, and so I just thought, oh, this is just going to be one of those times.
I like it. Let's do it. Let's let Eduardo go last this time.
There we go.
And then
I don't
Ed's
wanna
got to
interrupt
say,
Gabe, I mean-
"Let's do it."
Yeah. Come on, it's a night show. We got this. Let's do this. I'm so sorry, Ed.
Oh no, it's fine.
And so yeah, I've just been out there in the shed every day, just patching, and I already taped up everything, so now I'm just patching and trying to get it smooth. And it's kind of nice because it's the longest step, after hanging all the drywall.
Yeah.
And because after this is painting and putting the floor down. And I know people are like, put the floor down, but like I've done so many floors in my life at this point to where like that's the least daunting of anything that's going on.
Right.
What
Yeah,
what
yeah.
is your plans like floor wise? Like, what do you?
I think I'm going to do cork.
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
I've heard it's
Cork.
really
Very soundproof.
Yeah,
too, isn't
really
it?
resilient, really soaks up sound. You don't have to worry about sound bouncing around so much because of it. It's, cork is mold free. It's sustainable because it comes from a tree and they just strip the bark off, so you don't have to cut down trees to make it. So
Is it more expensive?
not really. Not when you're talking about hardwood and everything like that. I mean, there's hardwood that's out there that's incredibly expensive. Cork can be expensive, but y'all know your boy. And
That's
so,
Right.
and I don't I don't have to get that much of it. I only have to, the room's only 192 square feet. It's 12 by 16.
Nice.
So it's not like,
Oh yeah.
even if it was a little bit pricier, it's not that big of an area.
So do
Yeah.
they make it tongue and groove
Yes.
as well? Oh, sweet.
So they make it
Very nice.
floating. So that's what I've always done before. So I don't have to worry
look at
about
you.
nailing down or stapling down, which I haven't done.
So is that like on top of the concrete? I guess it just goes over just like any other floor.
Mine is subfloor, and so you have your subfloor like what's in your house. Like if you were to peel up your carpet or under your hardwood is usually a base of plywood, and then you put underlayment down, which is a pad and a moisture barrier, and then you put your cork on top of that. But the moisture barrier just rolls out. You just roll it out, cut it to length, roll it out, cut it to length. That's
Roll
super
out.
easy.
Dun, dun, dun.
Exactly. And so, yeah, I'm excited because even though this, especially with 3 children, this patching process is taking a long time. And it's not something I want to call friends over to help just because I don't trust anybody. I want to go in there and be like, oh man, they left a big glob here. Now I got to sand this down. So I'm kind of doing it all myself. I trust
You're being
Jenny.
a perfectionist.
Yeah,
as you
I
should.
trust Jenny. Jenny could do it, but because she's a perfectionist when it comes to that kind of stuff. But anyway, so doing that. As far as gaming, man, I haven't dove in. I don't know why I haven't dove back into too much other stuff. I think it's just because the tour was so great with gamers, and then we've formed a little text going around. So these guys hit me up almost every night, and they're like, Call of Duty? And I'm like, all right.
Nice.
Yeah, you're always on there.
I know.
That's awesome.
So I've been playing a lot of Call of Duty.
Good for you, man.
Yeah.
That's fine.
And I did get to play A Way Out with Chris. That was really fun. And it's funny because what Chris feels about Far Cry with the mechanics outside of walking around and talking, I felt like that with A Way Out. Like I was like, oh, this driving sucks. The gunplay sucks. But it's not a shooting game. You know what I'm saying? It's like you don't do it even a quarter of the time. But when you did get around to shooting, I was like, I can't, but I've been playing Call of Duty, which is the best handling game on the planet. You know what I'm saying? So,
and I'll agree with you. Like you could tell that in particular, those things were not their strong suit. But there was enough.
Right.
You could also tell that wasn't the main thing of the game.
Exactly. It's not, you don't barely do it. You don't barely drive around. So it's not like you have to do that a whole bunch. But it's just like when you are doing it, it's just like a little frustrating because you're like, I just want this to do right.
It's like, oh, they're just going to be bullet sponges? Okay.
There's a couple times where Chris was like, I've shot that guy 10 times.
I know. In the head.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He does not have a helmet on.
And for me, I don't know about game of the year, but it was definitely a great game. I really enjoyed it. And I really enjoyed playing with Chris and being able to talk the whole time while we're doing it. And
that's awesome.
You take the guy on the left, I'll take the guy on the right kind of thing. And but like and staying away from being spoilery, the ending almost ruined the game for me.
Really?
Like, just for me, I felt like, now there wasn't a million ways they could go. There's probably 3 different ways the ending could have gone and made sense. And I just would have rather one of the other ways. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not saying that the ending they chose was bad. Chris called it like 25% of the way through the game.
Yeah.
And
kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I just wish it wouldn't have gone that way. But
interesting.
But I'm also like, anyway, I can't say anything else without it being spoiled.
I'll kind of say this again, trying to be somewhat vague. I think I had messaged Ed afterwards, like, the next day or whatever, and we were chatting about it a bit. And I said, I loved the ending, but I also hated it.
Yes.
It's like I had both emotions tied together. And that's what overall, having both of those is part of what elevates it for me, is because it could do that to me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So
yeah.
So there's that. And that was great. It's now only my 2nd game out of my 7 that I have for my New Year's resolution. But
there you go.
I'm over halfway, I think, on Batman, so that'll be in there.
Oh, nice.
You guys
nice.
are really, really making me want to play Far Cry.
Buddy.
Which I know that is not a simple task. So it sucks because there's all these games. I feel like God of War and coming soon. Far Cry's out right now. Ni no Kuni 2 is out right now. And I'm like, I feel almost like buried under the weight of wanting to play all these games.
That was one of the things, because I was saying, I wasn't really like a Far Cry person. And so I was on the fence with Far Cry 5, and I was like, but like God of War is right around the corner. And then this whole like, oh, Stacey's going to be out of town. And we was like, all right. And I had a 20% off coupon. So I was like, all right, this is a perfect storm. I can maybe beat this game in a week. Yeah, I don't know, but I can make a huge dent enough to where I feel like, hey, I can safely say I played Far Cry 5. Because that's the whole thing is like, because when God of War gets here, whatever is on the table is getting shoved off the table.
Right.
For God of War. So
right.
if I would prefer to not have a Far Cry anymore and be done with it, but we'll just have to see where it is.
So, gosh, you guys make me want to play that. And then I feel like the movies are starting to kick up a little bit as we're about to head into the summer. And so I'm really wanting to go see a bunch of movies. Yeah. There's just like so much entertainment is going on right now. I'm like, I don't know what to do first. And so it's just, I don't know. I was saying this to somebody, and this is overdoing it. I understand. But I just kind of feel like what a time to be alive. With just how the movies are converging and where gaming is at right now. And, when I was on Dad Tired, one of the things I brought up, which I hadn't thought about, it just kind of came out. I was like, gaming is still in its infancy when you think of other forms of entertainment. And so it's like, man, if we're only 40 years into gaming, like look how long movies and music and plays and things like that have been around. But like gaming is in such a sweet spot for being so young, It's kind of like America. When you think of America as a nation, you're like, we're a baby nation in comparison to Rome. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like some of these huge cities that are out there. So anyway, I don't know. I'm just excited for 2018. It just seems like an awesome year. I'm excited about E3. I'm excited that we get to take in the press conferences with family members as we celebrate episode 300. And E3 going on at the same time. That's really fun. And so it'll be great to do the early show, because if you guys remember, episode 299 is going to come out on Friday. Episode 300A will be recorded on Saturday. We'll get to watch all the press conferences. Then we'll record episode 300B on Wednesday or Thursday, whenever we end up doing it that week for the regular show again. And so it'll just be a crazy week of news and everything going on. And I'm going to be feeling all kind of nostalgic, not being at E3 with you guys and, like we did last year, but it'll be a good time.
I think it's a good substitute though. I must say that's
I mean, if you're going to skip E3,
exactly,
you might as well be with family,
you're
right?
going to do it right. Exactly.
Exactly. So, anyway, that's all been going on. Everything's pretty normal over here, man. Amara's back at school. She had spring break last week. So she's back in school, and we're just getting it done. It's gravy, baby. So I'm excited to
awesome, man.
Keep playing some games. I need to go buy some new ones, or not.
Yeah.
So what was your resolution you keep talking about? It was just to play 7 games?
It was to beat 7 games this year.
Gotcha.
You'll get there.
Okay. Yeah, so mine's kind of. Does it matter? Like, do they have to be 2017 games, or it's just 7 games?
No. I was just trying to do 7 games and just try to finish them. I don't even remember what my first one was. I want to say it was Mario Odyssey.
Yeah, sounds right.
Was the first one, and then me and you did A Way Out, and so I've got Batman almost complete. I'd love to do God of War and Far Cry and Ni no Kuni, but Ni no Kuni's gonna be like an 80-hour game, and so that's tough to do. But
which God of War, like, I'm excited about it, but they're having like all the press people that are gonna talk about it are already playing it, tweeting out how they've beat it, and they're all going to say like scores and impressions, and embargo lifts next Thursday. That's really? Well before the game comes out, so Sony's feeling confident about this thing.
Lord have mercy.
I'm like all in. I'm like, yeah, I feel like this is going to be well worth my time.
I'm really excited.
When does that come out?
We got to look out for Conan's Clueless Gamer on it.
Yeah.
I know.
I think it comes out in May, right? May.
Okay.
No, it's end of this month.
Yes,
is it April?
Comes 4/20.
Oh Lord!
Wow,
I'm in trouble.
Yep.
Yep.
Games to play, brother. Games to play. But you know what? Take your time. Enjoy. Pick which ones you want to do and just have fun with it. That's what I'm doing. Like, I know there's games coming, but I'm all in Far Cry 5 for a while, and I'm totally fine that way. Even when God of War comes out, I'm just going to keep playing until I'm done.
I unfortunately had a New Year's resolution that's similar to yours, but with more rules stricken. Mine has to be at least 10 games, and they have to all come out this year. So
that's right.
I'm like,
But your wife also travels, and you have just 0 children.
Well,
yes,
the 0 children, yes, but the wife travel, like with her new role, she's not going to be traveling nearly as much. So it's going to be,
there you go.
There you have that.
Lots of Overwatch.
Exactly.
I know, right?
Eduardo.
Yes, sir.
What's been going on with you, doggy?
Well, speaking of going home, my brother-in-law is no longer with us.
Oh my gosh!
Did you bury him in the backyard?
Speaking of get out of my house, my brother-in-law left.
Jeez, Louise!
Pretty much what that sounded like.
That's what it sounded like.
It's just a segue. That's all it was.
Yes, of course.
He and his wife left on late Saturday night, and it was a big week of games. The Tapmans were over quite a bit, and so we played a lot of VR, which was fun. It's always fun watching someone play a VR game for the first time.
Yes,
and so that was a good time. As soon as he left, I hopped into Overwatch and hopped into Far Cry, and it was like Chris said, he didn't play much Overwatch. It was so obvious people were playing Far Cry because all weekend long, up until tonight, I didn't see one person on while I was playing Overwatch that I knew. It was so weird. I'm like, I guess I'm just playing with random people then.
And also isn't, I think Ni no Kuni, which is another, I think that's out
too. A lot
of
people been playing Ni no Kuni and Far Cry 5.
Yep.
And so it's just been really strange. It's like a ghost town in Overwatch.
And
it's
then
been
Kale and them
weird.
are off on honeymoon.
That's right. That's right. So yeah, that's been really weird. Sarah and I went to see Ready Player One with Sarah, so I saw it for the second time. She saw it for the first time.
Oh, awesome!
And just so much fun to watch for the second time because you know the story, so you can. I could spend a lot of time looking at the background, and I think I found Tracer 4 times.
Nice!
Oh, wow, nice
in the movie. And another thing that I thought was really cool is when we were watching the credits. There are just so many pop culture references, but in proportion to how many pop culture references are in there aren't a lot of them that show up in the credits as far as like voices and what have you.
Huh.
And that being said, I thought it was so cool that Kara, who voices Tracer, did make the end credits. So I thought that was really cool that she got to be one of the very few people who were credited in the movie. So I thought that was really cool. Sarah really enjoyed it. She hadn't read the book, and so it was kind of cool to get her perspective from someone who didn't have an idea of what it was may be or was going to be.
So question real quick about the Easter eggs, because I know you and Sarah at different ages. What generation do you need to be a part of to really pick up on a lot of the Easter eggs? Do you need to be an 80s baby? Do you need to be a 90s baby?
I guess it just depends. Sarah was born in 83. So, for most of the 80s, she was, very, very young. But she still grew up. She's a huge Back to the Future fan, which, came out in 85. So it just really, it's not even really the age. It's really more of what you're into. Like the one girl rides Akira's motorcycle. I have no idea who that was.
Are you serious? Akira's motorcycle's in it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I love it.
And so there are a lot of things that it's just what you happen to have been into. And so there are a couple of things that I'm sure are huge to some people, and to me, I was like, I don't know who that is, but I think that's something I should know. That kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But there's so much for everyone that you'll catch a lot of it. The fact that they include Tracer, which is pretty current. Everyone's going to see something.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool.
Nice.
But yeah, just like Tim and Chris, just spending most of my time then this week playing Far Cry 5, and it's just been so cool to see. I won't go too far into it just because we've touched on it so much already. But a couple of things that I've really enjoyed. One of the things going into it that they said was, "Hey, there's not going to be any of those towers you have to climb to clear out areas of the map."
That's right.
And I enjoyed climbing those towers.
Me too.
And I always thought that was fun. And they still have that mechanic. It's just not, you don't clear the map out. Instead, they have prepper stashes. And in order to find the stash, you might have to climb something and figure out how to scale it or whatever. So they do still have that in some spots, which I really am grateful for.
And most of those are really fun side missions too.
Yeah. And the fact that the side missions don't feel kind of, Gabe, when you asked if it felt like you're running errands, the side missions really do tie into the main story. It's not just like, oh, I sure wish I could make dinner for my family. Can you go find 4 eggs?
Right.
It's everything here really pertains to the main story or is because of the main story. And I really like that a lot. Like Chris, the flying is horrible.
Really?
It is dreadful. And I'm like Tim. They had a little kind of like a one-man mini helicopter in 4, the buzzer you could fly around, and I was in that all the time.
Oh yeah, I love
it.
Me too.
But you're driving a plane in this one, and the mission you have it's so bad. I was so angry doing it. And Sarah at one point she goes, I thought video games were supposed to be fun. I don't think you're having fun right now.
No, that bad.
And so I just, and I didn't drive a lot in the others either. I didn't do any of the racing things in any of the previous Far Cry iterations. And in this one, I would always, if I do get in a car, I always press in on the L3 button and just let it auto drive.
Self-drive, yeah.
But there's a couple where you have to drive an ATV or you have to drive a truck, and the angle that they give you is just really uncomfortable feeling.
Interesting.
So like Chris, I'm just running everywhere, and I don't mind that because you run across people who give you extra missions or you find something else. And so I like running around with everywhere. I don't need a car. 500 meters or whatever the unit is sounds like a lot, but you have just such a good time running that it doesn't feel like it's that far.
And crazy stuff is just happening everywhere all the time.
Yeah.
So the odds of if you just run from point A to point B, you're probably going to see something weird or goofy or silly or funny. And not just because that's like supposed to happen, something weird that probably isn't supposed to happen is going to happen,
Right. Or you might see a traveler who will give you a prepper stash clue on the way there and that kind of stuff. And so that makes it really nice. Because this is one where you don't have to hunt, I haven't sold any skins just because I'm so used to Far Cry. I'm like, I don't want to sell anything. I might need it. I know I won't need it, but I still haven't sold any of it because I'm so
probably
afraid
gonna do
of
the exact same thing, and I'll probably have that same instinct.
Oh yeah. See, I didn't have any of that, so man, I sold everything, and I'm banking in so much money.
Good.
I just buy anything I want. I'm like, what you want? I'll make it rain.
That's right. Make it rain up in Hope County.
But yeah, I'm having so much fun. I got my bow, I've got my sniper rifle, I've got my muzzle, and I pretty much haven't bought anything else. I'm just, loving what I've got and just having such a fun time. Kind of like Chris, I'm in the Southwest. I'm in John Seed's area. I defeated the boss in that one, but I'm still sticking around just so I can clear out all the missions in that area and what have you. And it's just been so much fun to be in that world again and play around with it. I'm having a blast.
And have you gotten a lot of the perks? Have you purchased a lot of the perks from the perk area?
Yeah, I've gotten quite a few of the perks, and I love the fact that this time around it's not an HP level up, but it's when you find those perk magazines, and that's how you get the perk points. Yep. And so sometimes you'll walk in to an area and walk out with sometimes 5 perk points.
Yeah, wow. And there's a lot of them. Every time you do the prepper missions, they'll have like 3 or 4 of them in there. And I didn't even pay attention to it at the beginning. I think that I either had John Seed beaten or I was about to have the fight before I even went in and bought my first perk and I had like 40 of them, 40 points because I hadn't even messed with any of them because I felt like I could do most of what I wanted. Now, there were some struggles here and there, but it wasn't until I was like, man, I really wish I could reload this faster. Wait, you know what? There's a perk something. Maybe there's something in there. And sure enough, there's a perk. So I would only buy the ones that I want. I will say this, Tim, especially because you're just now kind of getting going on it.
I'm just getting into it, yeah.
And for anybody else who maybe is just jumping in, the one perk that I would say to get first and that I actually did buy first, I think is especially if you start finding yourself really gravitating to the prepper missions, there's this one that makes it to where you can unlock stuff like pick locks and things.
Yes.
And you see all of these safes whenever you do the prepper missions. Almost every time you do one, there's going to be a safe in that same room. Or if you do an outpost somewhere in there's probably going to be a safe. And you can get a lot of money out of there too. And silver bars, which I don't know what you can buy with those. I hadn't paid attention. But that was like, I was like, ooh, I want that. And it wasn't until I kind of felt like, man, I wish there was a wait a minute. I bet there's a perk. That's when I would go in and buy one. Now I'm sitting on most of them, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's been, and last week I really hadn't used the dog much as far as like assigning the dog to do things. And I hadn't unlocked like an extra slot to have like a human with me.
Yep.
And so I hadn't really played around with that. And boy, I love that now. You
you
headshot that guy, dog, you distract that guy. I'll take the third guy. And I don't know how I did it with before. It's just so much fun.
That's great.
So yeah, I'm just having a blast playing that. And that's been, that's pretty much my week so far. Yeah. Just, the house is back to the normal and trying to play some games.
There you go.
I have to brag on you for a little bit because I know you just released episode 60 of Foot in the Door, and I listened to it this past week. You interviewed Carolina Ravassa, and
he did.
I just kind of had this proud moment because at least twice in the interview she said, "Man, these are really good questions." So,
and she tweeted out about how it was like the best interview she'd ever done.
Yeah,
that was really cool.
Kudos to you,
kudos,
man. Always
man.
Just getting like really down into it and not asking the same old questions that I'm sure a lot of people are used to, and just kind of just being kind of like, hey, just sit and talk with me for a little bit, man. I loved it. I really enjoyed that episode.
Man. I appreciate it.
And it was really, and she was very interesting as well. And it was just really cool to hear her constantly say, man, this is a great interview. So,
yeah, and she's done lots of stuff and all of her stuff, and I haven't seen all of them, and I'm sure they're all great. But she's freaking Sombra. That's what
Sombra.
Like, she's freaking Sombra.
So that's really, really cool, man. So
thanks. I appreciate that.
Very proud of you, brother, man. It was really good.
Thank you.
Sure. Nice, Edward.
Yeah.
Tim.
Yes.
You got it?
Yes.
Well, let's do it.
Yes.
I've been drinking tea. I'm not cracking all over the place.
Someone's been playing Far Cry 5. Yes.
Yes.
The power of yes.
That's right.
That guy.
Man, it's kind of all over the place this week as far as new releases, because we had a boatload last week. Terra for the Xbox One is out. World of Tanks War Stories for the 360, Xbox One, and PS4. ACA Neo Geo, the King of Fighters 99 for the Xbox One and PS4. Everybody's Golf, Pine Hills Golf Club for the PS4. Island Time VR for the PS4. Metropolis Lux Obscura for the Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, Vita, and PS4. Crisis, here's an interesting one. Crisis on the Planet of the Apes VR for the PC and PS4. Don't know how I feel about that one. Raiders of the Broken Planet, Hades Betrayal for the PS4, PC, and Xbox One. It's too early for NPD in March. No oops. Back to you.
Ooh. Chris McCracken.
Okie dokie, Gabriel. Here I go.
Let's hear it.
Well, Sony has finally given us a release date for Spider-Man.
Yes.
The game is coming out on September 7th.
Unbelievable.
And I am so excited for this game.
Yes.
Game Informer is doing a month-long coverage on them. Which Game Informer still does magazines, which I always have to remind. I was like, oh yeah, they still do written stuff, like printed stuff. But the article that's coming, or the magazine that's coming out, I think it's the cover story is there, and they're gonna have a lot of digital content like on YouTube and whatnot. And so there's just all kinds of stuff about Spider-Man coming out along with this. They're gonna be having a digital deluxe version. They're going to be having this sick-looking collector's edition that I am just wanting to buy so bad.
I'm sure.
And in fact, the statue, it's kind of crazy because in the picture, it's got Spider-Man, a little statue of him, and he's sitting on what just looks like a cement brick. And then I was like, huh. And then they had on the PlayStation blog where they were talking about it, they said, pay extra special attention to the statue. If you pay extra special attention, you'll notice that the statue is something that is kind of missing. And I didn't think it was missing. I just thought he was supposed to be standing on that, but it's actually something that's covered up. And it says, we'll have to reveal the entire statue for the collector's edition later because they're afraid that showing it right now would be too spoilery. So I'm like, that's kind of different. I don't feel like anybody's ever made a statue where a part of the statue was a spoiler. So on the one hand, that kind of stinks because because if I bought it and then I opened it, it's like, well, wait, I almost don't want to look at it until I beat the game if it's a spoiler.
Yeah.
But it still looks cool. And the gameplay that they've released, like the little clips and whatnot, I have high hopes for this game. Like, I really, it's going to be such a bummer if it disappoints. I don't feel like it's going to, but, it's always a little bit dangerous when you get too excited for a game. But I'm like, it just looks so fluid and I'm super pumped.
I know. I think because of the shed, I never buy collector's editions ever, just because they're more expensive and I don't need my wife looking at me with all that side eye she'd have going on every single time a new statue shows up. But I mean, it's Spider-Man, right? You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm thinking. It's like it's Spider-Man.
Like if not any other collector's edition, this one. That's how I feel. So I might be with you on this.
Well, I can't get on the board
McCracken.
with you there because I'm going to buy other ones too.
No, I'm just saying, like, there's so many other ones that I see and I'm like, ooh, I want that one. Like, I really wanted that Dishonored one because of that mask, but I didn't want my children having nightmares.
Right.
But this one, I was like right when I saw the announcement, Remy just happened to be up here and he goes, oh, Spider-Man. And I was like, I know, man.
I'm aware.
I know. Mm-hmm.
And they are saying that there's going to be DLC post-launch. They're going to continue supporting it. Like if you get the collector's edition or the digital deluxe version of the game, it has the DLC like packaged in with it. It's going to be coming out later.
Oh, nice.
So
please be a good game. Oh, my gosh.
I know.
Seriously.
It's like I really don't want it to be all pizzazz and no substance.
There's a chance, right? I mean, there's a chance
definitely
it's
a
not
chance.
good.
There's definitely a chance. There was a chance with God of War too, but it's like with all these, how early like the embargo's lifting everything, like I feel very confident now. Like I'm not scared that God of War is not going to be good. And it's still too early to say for sure if Spider-Man's going to be good, but man, do I want to believe.
Man, considering all the other Spider-Man iterations there have been, and I've seen gameplay and just never been interested in the slightest.
Yep.
And with this one, it's like, I want to play this so bad.
It looks so good, man. That collector's edition is $150 though, and I know they're usually over $100, right, or right at 100 for collector's editions.
Yeah, I think if I remember right, the God of War one is about the same, and this one comes with a few things that the God of War one doesn't. So this has
like
a few
a
more
Spider-Man
items.
statue. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, they both have a statue. They both have the steel book, and that's about it. Like this one comes with a little mini art book. On the God of War one, it's a digital art book, so you can only look at it like on the PS4. I like the idea of the physical book better.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, God of War comes with like a cloth map, which is cool though.
Yes,
we finally found where Chris prefers physical and not digital.
Yeah, if you give me a cool statue and some other stuff, I'm with you.
Dang it, man.
I gotta say, like, I might be the only one. I'm not that excited yet for this game. Like, I've never really been very, like, the Batman series were great. I played Arkham City, I think, and is that it? No, that can't be. Yeah, I think that's the only one. And they were good, but it's nothing that I'm really chomping at the bit for yet. So I'm hoping that they'll surprise me.
Yeah, I think too. Me and Jenny just saw Homecoming, so it's got me all jazzed up as well. We saw it last week.
And Infinity War is going to have art dropped way before this comes out, and he's in there.
Infinity War is going to be boneless.
Big God.
It's good. Like, just throw everything at you. And just watch your head explode as you watch this.
I should go see Ready Player One and Avengers back to back just so I can send myself into a
nerd coma.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. I just talking ones and zeros for the rest of the year.
Exactly. One of the things that I think it is that when you look at superhero games, I don't feel like they've made Spider-Man games that were enjoyable because of like the mechanics part were okay, but I don't feel like they've ever hit it out of the park. Whereas like with Batman games, I think they have. This is the first time where I feel like I'm going in expecting this is going to be a hit out of the park.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
I've never necessarily felt that way about any of the other Spider-Man games. And I haven't played them all. I've only played, a handful of them, but there's never been one that has been universally held as like, oh, this is the Spider-Man game to play.
Is Rocksteady doing this one?
This is Insomniac.
That's right. Insomniac is. So, so I have nothing to really base it on. So I like Spider-Man, but I'm not like, oh my God, chomping at the bit for it yet. Probably because according to Ed, The Last of Us 2 is coming out in the fall as well. So maybe I'm more excited for that than I am for anything else. We'll
Y'all are crazy.
Man, although I'm seriously thinking that he's right at this point. It's weird. Like I'm like, I think he might actually be onto something. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, man.
But they're not going to put Far Cry and Last of Us close to each other, I doubt. They'll spread them out a bit. That doesn't mean they couldn't both still be in the winter, fall, late fall-ish. But they're not going to be like back to back to back.
No.
Yeah.
If this is September, Last of Us would come out end of October or November, probably.
Yeah, probably November, December, somewhere around there if it's going to happen.
Mid-May.
I want to be smoking what Ed's smoking.
Gotta have faith.
What do they put in your coffee?
It's a little bliss.
Yes, some bliss.
That's funny. So as we know, this last Sunday was not just Easter, but it was also April Fool's Day. And there's always a myriad of April Fool's jokes that comes out. I missed it this year because April Fools got to feel like how I feel every year. It's just hard to go up against Jesus when it comes to trying to celebrate your own thing, with me being a Christmas baby. And so I didn't see any April Fool stuff.
I didn't either
this year because I was doing Easter. But that doesn't mean it didn't happen. And so there was some stuff that I saw pictures of that I just kind of ran over without knowing it was a joke. And so one of them was Mega Man's Date My Robot Master, which looked like a dating sim with Mega Man characters and stuff like that. Obviously, it's not real. A Street Fighter card game was announced, which is obviously not real. Pokemon Go did something that I thought was kind of cool. They promised 8-bit graphics for the Pokemons, which is so great. And then instead of not doing it, they actually put them in the game. And so they actually did release an update and added some of that stuff. Do you guys know the Sonic meme where it's a Sonic the Hedgehog drawn really bad?
Oh, yeah.
And they call him Sonic.
Yeah.
So that was released as like a mug and an iPhone case and a T-shirt. So you actually can buy those. So you can actually get something from the Sonic collection.
Sonic, that's awesome.
Civilization 6 for the smartwatch was something that was joked, and
Oh my gosh.
Final Fantasy 14 was releasing a Final Fantasy 14 online Go thing, kind of like Pokemon Go.
That's funny.
So those are some of the things. There was a bunch more, but some of the things that was released
nice
on April Fool's Day, and I totally didn't get to enjoy any of that because
I
we
didn't
were
either.
too busy saying he is risen indeed.
That's right.
All day long. So hopefully you guys saw some funny stuff. There's been some amazing things that IGN specifically has done in the past with Zelda and different things. So I guess I don't know if Hyrule's Funniest Home Videos was this year or the year before, but they did release a Hyrule's Funniest Home Videos, the best of Zelda Breath of the Wild. So
that's funny.
April Fool's Day. It was overshadowed, but it was still felt by millions.
There you go.
Chris McCracken, what else you got, Dougie?
Well, we did a lot of gushing on Far Cry 5, and Ubisoft is wanting to do a little bit of gushing as well. They put out a press release, and they said that they wanted to announce that Far Cry 5 has more than doubled the first week sell-through of Far Cry 4, making Far Cry 5 the fastest-selling title in franchise history.
Wow.
Digital distribution accounted for more than 50% of those sales, and Far Cry 5 represents the second biggest launch ever for a Ubisoft game, following only Tom Clancy's The Division, with 310 million in consumer spend through the first week.
Yes, now.
Wow.
So
and they put out. Oh, what were you saying?
No, I keep wondering why we skip over Primal. Like, was Primal? Did it do better than 4, and that's why they didn't use that comparison?
I don't think that. I think most people looked at Primal as like a 0.5 kind of game. I know I did. Like, I had no interest at all.
Because they used the same map as Far Cry 4.
It is. It's the exact
same. And it
same
came out
map as
really quickly after Far Cry 4. It didn't feel like, oh, this has been enough time to make its own game. It felt like a...
So was it supposed to be Far Cry 4 on the same land? Are you dealing with the same... is it the same people? Like, is it the same people
it
that you're
wasn't
messing with
supposed to
RJ
be
and all them?
obvious that it was the same land. I think people just through, YouTube and, looking through things that they're like realized, oh, wait, this is actually the same area in Far Cry, except now it's got a woolly mammoth right there or whatever.
Yeah,
so
especially
it's not like a throwback. Like, this was the Far Cry 4 land thousands of years ago.
No, it's its own story. It just happens to be that they use the same map in Far Cry 4. They just made it 10,000 years ago. So it's good, man. I platinumed that game too. That was actually a fairly easy one. I've got it. You can borrow if you want.
Nope.
But okay.
I appreciate that though.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
It was kind of like how it's kind of like how the Lost Legacy wasn't necessarily Uncharted DLC.
Exactly.
Yes.
Good.
But it was a shorter.
Or First
example.
Light
Uncharted.
to Infamous Second Son. First Light was kind of like a...
Yeah, but those are really short in comparison, right?
No, this was long though. This was a full-on campaign.
That's what I'm saying.
Well,
Primal was like
I would
a full
say
game.
Lost Legacy was pretty long.
Was it?
And compared to other Far Cry games, Primal wasn't nearly, because I was waiting for the map to like expand even bigger.
Gotcha.
And I definitely went through that quicker than I did a regular Far Cry game.
Yeah,
I got you.
Along with all that stuff, they kind of did this infographic with a bunch of like just goofy little stats up until this point. So I'll just read a couple of them. But it says 8,651 players have been ambushed by skunks.
Yeah, one of them.
I've definitely been one of them a couple of times. 5.1 million fish have been caught. 35.1 million sticks of dynamite have been thrown. The most popular gun for hire is Nick Rye, which he's the guy that drives around the little yellow like water plane that can land in the water. That's the one that I use 90% of the time, as I use him.
Really?
Yep. And then the most popular Fang for hire is Boomer the dog, which again, those are the two that I use almost all the time. I've not deviated from that hardly at all. There's been 177 million civilians saved, and 1.1 million hours of quality time spent with Cheeseburger, which Cheeseburger is the bear that you can have as an attack bear.
That
you take out with you. Yeah. And there's several other ones, but those were just some of the highlights.
That's amazing.
Nice. So you guys remember Chicago?
Yeah.
Pokemon.
The band?
The city? Yeah.
The city and Pokemon Go Fest.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
you mean that? You mean that debacle? Yes.
How well that went.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Niantic is settling with attendees and shelling out over $1.6 million to cover the cost of travel and lodging and to make up for the event.
Wow.
So that's not a lot of money for Niantic.
That's a drop in the bucket.
Considering how much they've made. But I'm glad that they're making good with what all went down last time. Hopefully I want them to do it again. I hope they're not scared away from doing it again, but they just need to have their ducks in a row and their T's crossed and the I's dotted. But I mean, obviously a lot of people showed up for it. People traveled to Chicago from out of town, obviously. And so I hope they don't get scared from doing that. They just do it better with the servers next time. But I'm glad that they're at least settling, and hopefully people can get some of their money back. And I think it's cool they're paying for travel even.
Yeah, it's great.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
There was some people, because it was the only place in the world to do it. So there were people that were flying from all around the world to it.
That's right.
If I'm remembering right. So yeah.
And I'm surprised 1.6 million will cover everybody, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
But I guess if, $1.6 million is a lot of money. So, if you flew from New Zealand and, that's a $5,000 round trip ticket or whatever, that can add up. But still, 1.6 million is a bunch of money to put out to people. So get on that. And if you went and you want some money back, obviously the tickets will be refunded and everything like that. And I think they already refunded the $20 tickets and gave some in-game stuff, but now they're really putting their money where their mouth is.
So the video game version of the Fire Festival, basically, is what's happened.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What else you got, Christopher?
So is Ryder the only one that played Middle-earth Shadow of War? Did any of the rest of you?
I played a bunch of it.
Not very long.
I got it at the Red Box, but I didn't beat it yet.
Bet your sweet little tush I did.
Well, I knew that you did. So if you remember when that game came out, it was one of the ones, it was kind of when all of the loot box kerfluffle stuff was coming up, and they were talking about like, oh, but there's loot boxes in there. And as I believe Ed has even said on our show that it really was like, hey, you can just ignore it. It's not a problem really or anything like that, right? That was kind of your thing for it. Well, Warner Brothers, which is the publisher of Middle Earth Shadow of War, has come out and said that they're pulling microtransactions completely from the game, and they released a statement about it. Yeah, completely, which is weird. Wow. I'm just going to read their statement because it kind of lays it all out perfectly. And it says, the core premise of the Nemesis system is the ability to build relationships with your personal allies and enemies in a dynamic open world. While purchasing orcs in the market is a more immediate and provides additional player options, we've come to realize that providing this choice risked undermining the heart of the game, the Nemesis system. It allowed you to miss out on some of the awesome player stories you would have otherwise created, and it compromises those same stories even if you don't buy anything. Simply being aware that they are available for purchase reduces the immersion in the world and takes away from the challenge of building your personal army and your fortress.
Interesting.
And it's just kind of crazy to me that, one, it's a complete 180 where they're completely removing it. It says, in order to fully restore the core promise of the Nemesis system, we'll be permanently removing gold war chests from the market of Shadow of War. And on top of the fact that it's so crazy that it's a complete 180, it feels like it's, for those who really were upset by it, way too little too late.
That's what I thought too. I was like,
why do this now?
Yeah.
When your game is, arguably past its prime and it's obviously all the hype's away from it. So It's like, who's out there like going, and now I'll buy Shadow of War,
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't feel like I don't feel like at this point in time it's an issue. So to be putting out a press release, I mean, I guess you could say however they do it, if they've realized that this is a bad thing, that they're correcting a bad thing. So I guess that's good, but it just feels like why even make a statement? Like, why not just send out a tweet? Hey, yo, dog, we were moving this. It's like,
I think there's two things to think. One thing is no press is bad press, so you just get the name back out there again, and people are talking about it.
Yeah,
which might give a bump. But two, maybe, and I don't know this for fact, but I'm just guessing. Maybe it was a harder thing to remove than we would think. And so maybe it's something they've been working on, but it just took a while to implement it. As far as like,
That's
okay,
true.
how do we rework this game to where all the microtransactions are gone? We get rid of all this from the menus, send out an update to where it updates the game to where you can't have them, you don't see them anymore. And so maybe that just took, 2 months maybe. Because what's the game been out, 6 months or something like that?
It came out in October, I think, or September or something like that.
Yeah. So, it's not even been out a year yet. Maybe it takes a little bit to do what they had to do, and they finally got around to, okay, now it's all out. Here's, now we're letting you know. You know what I'm saying? Instead of like just a switch they can flip, 3 months ago.
Well, I can definitely get behind that reasoning that it's not something as easy as just, right click save as, no microtransactions. I mean, I know it's not quite that simple, but I mean, at the same time, like
Control Shift S.
I just, even when there were the people kind of raising a stink about it, I feel like the fervor for the problems or the microtransaction on this game were always way, way, way lower. Like there wasn't much talk about it. There was just some.
Right.
So it doesn't feel like it was a huge issue I don't know. But
that's what I'm saying. I wonder if they
like
started
went through
the process.
a lot of work for no real gain.
Right. But I wonder if the process started when it was a big deal, just overall, because it's hard to say where that fight was going to go. You know what I'm saying? Like if people stayed enraged for long enough, then games would start making, the microtransactions a way less thing, or a loot box system way less thing. And so you started with like, hey, this might be a new normal where people are really going to not be buying games because of microtransactions. Let's work on getting it out of our game. And then the fever pitch kind of dies down, but you're still feverishly working on it. And now you don't want to throw away the money that you've spent working to get it out, that you're like, let's just finish this project up,
Well, and it could also be, Tim, you probably would know better than me, because I don't remember, was there ever DLC? Did it come out, or did they talk about DLC for this game coming out?
I don't remember, man.
So if there isn't any out, maybe it's one of those things where like, oh, they're planning to release something and they wanted it all out before then, maybe.
Yes.
That could be
very
something
possible,
too.
Yeah, they say it's getting new DLC in May.
Okay, so then that kind of probably ties in with it as well. They're like, hey, this is our new goal, our new milestone. We got to get all this crap out before the May DLC drop.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that's a good point.
Interesting indeed, though.
Mm-hmm. You guys remember that Lindsay Lohan was suing Rockstar Games?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
How could we forget?
Exactly. So she started the process back in 2014. It was thrown out in 2016, and so she appealed that decision recently, and now that was thrown out again against Rockstar and Take-Two Interactive. So she will not be getting any money from them jokers for having a character named Lacey Jonas. I guess she feels like she looked like her or something like that, and her likeness. What the court said was
that was so sinister. I love it.
Well, it's just funny because they said it didn't fall under the statutory definitions of advertising or trade.
Right.
So it doesn't go along with the initial ruling that she was bringing. She was like, I mean, come on, and they were like, still no.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Mm-hmm. So
well, and is it? It's not mockery, because Weird Al Yankovic is totally fine with it because
parody.
It's it's parody.
Yeah.
So it's the same. So
and he also asks permission though.
Yeah, he does.
That's true. Yeah.
In particular, yeah.
That's a little different. Even I think Coolio even had to come back and apologize to Weird Al for making a stink over when he did Gangster's Paradise, Amish Paradise. Right. Because at the time he was like, he ain't talked to me, blah, 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 blah. And then later found out like, oh, he did talk to my people. And they said, go ahead. Yeah, it's fine.
Way to go, Coolio.
Exactly. Oh, man. What else you got, Chris? Anything else?
No, some of these are I think we may have, I'm good.
We may have kind of, no.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I always save, the little bitty things for the end, and it's like,
yeah, exactly.
We're not your welcome.
Right. There is I'll just mention this quickly. There is a little $20 wireless Bluetooth adapter from 8BitDo that lets you connect your DualShock or your Xbox One controller to the Nintendo Switch.
Yes.
So if you're hating their Pro controller, or you have the original thing that it came with and don't like it,
or you just don't want to spend $70 for the Pro controller and you already have a Xbox or PS controller,
then you can get this USB stick and let it use your PS4, PS3, Xbox One S, Wiimote, or Wii U Pro controller.
So does the Switch just has the one port, the one USB-C port? Is that where it plugs in?
It's got a USB.
Like a USB-A port as well. Oh, okay. Interesting. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that.
The old regular one. So do that if you hate everything else.
If you hate everything else.
Goodness gracious.
I don't personally think the Pro controller is that bad. I've not played with it, but it doesn't seem that bad to me. But like Chris is saying, perfect example, you don't want to spend $70. Yeah. You gotta, like me, I've got a couple PS3 controllers laying around here that would do just fine.
Yeah, I have not used the Pro controller, but there's nothing, when I look at it, I don't think, oh, that's got to be a horrible controller. But it's just more of just like, I have got so many controllers. If I can use one of these, why not?
And I should mention to Chris's point, too, that the Switch itself doesn't have a USB on it. The dock has a USB on it. So you would need to be playing in docked mode. Sorry for the confusion.
Lame.
And that's it from me. Ed Placencia, we got some free games going on for April.
Yeah, we do.
That aren't April Fools.
They are not. Well, depending, I guess, on what you think of the games.
I was going to say, depends on your perspective.
Yes.
Starting off on Xbox, if you want to feel dumb, there's The Witness that's available in April.
Mm-hmm.
And
I felt dumb.
I'm going to be playing, at least starting it.
So get your look it up on YouTube on.
Yep.
Oh, man. That's the one that was just puzzles all over the place, right? I watched you play that for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where did you play that? I feel like did you stream it or something?
I played it. Yeah, I played it on the PS4, and I think I did stream that for a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like I was in there live with you one time.
That's right, you were. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Emphasis on a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Available April 16th to May 15th, Assassin's Creed Syndicate. You can check that out.
Mm-hmm.
On the Xbox One and 360, we've got Cars 2, the video game.
Yeah, just in case you were wondering.
In case you were wondering.
Yeah, not the movie.
Nope, it's not a sticker.
It's like when they had President Trump at the White House egg roll, or the whatever they call it, the Easter egg roll. At the White House, on the news, they put him up and he's standing next to the Easter bunny, and the caption underneath says, President Trump here on the left. You're like,
no.
You're like, you don't know that he's on the left? The other one's the Easter bunny.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Thank you, news.
Yep,
yes, thanks, news. Straighten that out for me.
Exactly.
Yep. And then also on the Xbox One and 360 from April 16th to the 30th, Dead Space 2.
Ooh.
Oh, yes.
Someone likes that game.
Yes. Right? Yes.
Nice.
Get on that.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Maybe I will.
I love Dead Space. All the Dead Space games are fantastic.
That's so crazy.
I know, man. It was one of my it was one of my early games that I played when I got my PlayStation 3. Like I remember even before getting the console, I watched most of that campaign of Dead Space 2. And it was great, man. It was freaky too. Gabe, don't play that.
No, I won't be doing that.
Drawers.
Yeah, don't worry about that, Bishop.
Bishop.
I'm sorry, Ed. Continue, please.
Oh, you're fine. Over on the PlayStation, we've got Mad Max. I think that was a fun game. I liked playing that one.
Yeah, I want to play that.
A lot of people said they really liked it. I never played it either.
Yeah, that was good times. I didn't think I would like it, but I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Maybe that's why you liked it.
It could be. I definitely liked it way better than the movie.
Yeah. What if you went into it like, ooh, this game's about to be incredible?
Really? Did you not like that movie? I didn't watch it. That's another one. Is like so many people were like, oh, it's so good.
I think I'm in the minority, but I didn't care for it.
I thought it was fine. But I like Tom Hardy.
Yeah, I thought it was good. Yeah.
I didn't think it was amazing or anything.
Yeah. Too many drums on cars.
Were crazy though.
Yeah, some of the set pieces were really cool.
Oh my gosh.
Did you say I like Tom Arnold?
No.
Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy.
Sounds like Tom Arnold. What did he have to do with that movie?
Oh my gosh. I love Tom Arnold, so I really enjoyed Mad Max.
I've heard that game is great.
Yeah, I think it was a lot of fun. We've also got on the PS Plus Trackmania Turbo.
Hey, that's one of your games, right, Ed?
I played it a couple times.
Yeah.
That's about as far as that goes.
Also, cross-buy with PS4, In Space We Brawl.
Huh.
Okay.
Yep. So nice slow punches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And then your head pops, explodes because you took your helmet off.
That's the
The
fatality.
spit flies out in slow-mo, literally.
And then George Clooney floats past and you wonder what happened.
Exactly.
Toy Home and 99 Vitas for the PS Vita, cross-buy with PS3 and 4.
Okay, then.
And Qbert Rebooted for the PS Vita.
Really?
Right.
There you go.
Remember, you still got a year left on the Vita free games.
That's right.
So grab up the Toy Home and
99 Vitas. I got 99 Vitas, but my console ain't one.
But actually, I don't have one.
Right. Let's see. Over on YouTube, new this week, Morning Crew plays Far Cry 5.
Hey.
Yay.
2 parts over there. Good to see the Morning Crew back up and about.
Yes.
Are you still having to whisper, Tim?
No, not as bad. The mics I feel like it sounds pretty decent. So I think I just do anyway because it's the morning. So because that's like I get up, that's one of the first things I do is pop in that console and off we go.
Yeah, because I remember last time you were doing Morning Crew, you're like, and then I'm gonna go around this side.
I know, right? Because I was upstairs in my in-laws' house, so I'm like, "Mom, meatloaf," you know that whole thing. So yeah, I was I had to be a little bit quieter there, but I don't have to be now. Which is
there you
nice.
go.
Nice. Looking at our top 10 YouTube videos, combining average watch time and views for the week of March 27th through April 2nd. Number 10, Married to the Games, episode 289, Alien Inviters.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Number 9, Hugh Part 4, Pink.
Yeah, here we go.
Number 8, Druffle 2.
Wow.
Yay.
Number 7, Watch Dogs 2, Part 6, Bottom Dollar Complete.
Mm-hmm.
Number 6, Gabe and Chris react to The Last of Us Part 2.
Oh my gosh.
Sticking
Coming to you
around.
May 2018. Number 5, Ori and the Blind Forest Part 14, Thornfeld Swamp. Number 4, Hugh Part 10, University. Number 3, Watch Dogs 2, Part 48, Ghost Signals. Number 2, Watch Dogs 2, Part 19, Paint Job. Number 1, Hugh Part 11, Ending.
That's right.
I blame the PS Plus on that.
Yes, you have to. What else is there to blame?
Satan.
Yeah, that's true. You could
could always do that. You could always try that.
That's right.
Mara blamed Satan for something tonight, and I thought it was hilarious.
Oh,
Did you
that's
really?
amazing. Good on you, Boots. Nice.
She was like, cause that bad guy made me do it. That bad guy in heaven. I was like, you mean Satan? And she was like, yes. And I was like,
Yes, him.
number 1, he's not in heaven. Number 2, we have choices.
That's right.
Make you do anything.
Actual
That's awesome.
choices here. Yes.
It was so
girl.
funny during bath time. I heard Jenny like explaining it further, and I was like, oh man, this for a 6-year-old, you know.
Right.
Thank you, Eduardo.
You're welcome.
Every week we ask you guys a question. Last week was no different. We asked you guys what game should be selected for the World Video Game Hall of Fame. Gave you guys a choice of 12 games that are in the runnings.
Mm-hmm.
Cool runnings.
Yeah, I was totally thinking the same thing.
We all were.
Starting over on the Discord, we got Romaine, Nick Fallhaber. Space War gets my vote. It was one of the earliest video games ever and was made in the early 60s.
Ooh.
It was converted into
Really?
the first commercially distributed arcade game. The arcade version was called Computer Space and was developed by Nolan Bushnell and Ted Dabney in the early 70s. Nolan started Atari, if you guys don't remember.
Oh, okay.
That's crazy. Bad Gamer Elite, that limb guy. As much as I hate it, I'd have to say Minecraft. It has done so much for modern gaming, entertainment, and education. Doubt it. Just kidding.
What?
My son...
Respectfully disagree, sir.
Yeah, my son learned an appreciation for science at an early age through Stampy. He's a YouTuber. They even have started coding classes using the wretched game. It has infiltrated our toys and even cross genres of games. I won't play it, but I have to give it its props.
Yeah. I'm with him.
Disagree.
I know.
Tomb Raider gets my vote. This is Shep Dog. I can't think of a better example of a strong, independent woman. There is soon to be an 18th video game starring Laura, and they keep getting better. She's got to be one of the most cosplayed characters. There are toys, comic books, spin-off games, etc. I mean, we finally got a quote-unquote good movie adaptation of a video game, and it was thanks to who else but the Tomb Raider.
Amen. Well done.
Quote-unquote good.
Why you got a quote unquote? It was a good movie. Banned.
Quote-unquote good. Over on the Facebook MTTG community group, Miss Pac-Man won out over there.
Oh, nice.
Coming in first. Asteroids was second. Final Fantasy VII. Booyakasha was third. Brian Walden comments, Final Fantasy VII? Really, Gabe?
Yeah.
Yes, really, sir. I mean, this is the Hall of Fame. There's not just one winner here. There's not just one winner.
It's nostalgia.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
The cardboard box is in the Toy Hall of Fame. So, I mean, come on now.
I remember playing it well.
Exactly. Over on Twitter, we got the Frozen Gamer Metroid. Considering how influential it has been in the industry with its gameplay style, followed by the Batman Arkham series, Tomb Raider reboot series, Guacamelee, Ori and the Blind Forest, Steam World Dig 1 and 2, etc., it absolutely deserves that spot. Interesting. I didn't play Ori and any of that stuff, so I don't know how Metroid touches that, but I can, if I use my imagination, I can see that, I think. Jared Orr, JOR1313, I don't like it, but I think the definitive answer is Call of Duty. It's the best-selling series on this list and has had so much influence on the last two generations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't argue with that.
Yep.
No.
Mike BC at Mike BC 1985. I nominated Final Fantasy VII during the nomination period, so I'm very hopeful that it'll make it in. A man after my own heart. Good on you, Mike. And Robert Darrell Good after Christ. He says, Elder Scrolls Online.
Of course.
Hashtag forgot one, hashtag fixed it. Oh, man. That joker loves some Elder Scrolls Online.
He does, man.
Golly. Thank you guys so much. You guys know where to find us. Facebook.com/married to the games. Come join the group, MTTG community. Twitter.com/MTTGcast. Like Ed said, YouTube.com/married to the games, marriedtothegames.com. Now on Patreon at patreon.com/MTTG. And remember to let us know if you are coming to 300. We'll have a more centralized place for you guys to tell us so we really know. But for now, just let us know if you're coming. We want to know. We've been hearing murmurings. People are booking their hotels and their Airbnbs and their flights, and we are ecstatic about it. And we cannot wait to hang out with everybody. It's going to be so much fun.
Amazing.
Yeah, it is.
The 9th, the 10th, and for those that can swing it, going into the 11th, we're going to be watching the press conferences, the E3 press conferences together, doing a live show, and maybe a little Top Golf.
for those that stick around on Sunday. Be a good time. We can all hit them long and wrong. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
The Masters are this weekend. Speaking of golf, for those that are into that. And Eduardo,
rate us on iTunes, leave a comment, subscribe, and Far Cry 5.
There it is.
And Far Cry 5.
And Far Cry 5.
Oh my gosh. Well, let's get into some questions.
Start with Discord, and we're going to start with Stump Water Jack.
Hey, Gonzo.
Did you swipe any of that deeply discounted after Easter candy? If so, were you able to find some of your favorites? Man, I'm still eating pre-Easter candy at this point.
No, that's one of the things Jenny does, the Easter egg baskets and all that stuff. And then my mom did Easter egg baskets, and then my mother-in-law did Easter egg baskets. So we had no need to go get candy. We just need a trash can around here for all the wrappers and all the toys that they play with for 3 seconds.
Exactly.
Chris, you swiped some of that candy?
No, I didn't get any of it. I honestly didn't even think to go to the store and look. I forgot all about it.
Yeah.
Edward?
No, same as Chris. Nothing.
Tim?
Nope. Like I said, I'm still eating mine.
Exactly. It was nice because Amara did come up to me. She was like, I know you like Reese's. And so she saved me some of the Reese's eggs.
Oh, nice.
There she
is.
The devil made me do it.
That's what I was saying as I was eating it. I was like, oh, the devil made me do it. Eat all 7 of these at once. Oh, my gosh.
You know, the bad guy in heaven.
That's right.
Oh, man.
Good question.
Jesus and the Holy Spirit are like a buddy cop. Buddy cops. We're gonna get that devil again. He's at it again.
Exactly. Yeah. What's he doing back in here?
That wascally devil.
Yeah, keeps making it past the old gate.
The old pearly gates. Peter, do your job, man. Come on.
Yeah.
I got interrogated with the old good angel, bad angel moves.
Nice.
Michael and Gabriel.
Exactly. Trying to do my job.
That's right. All right, Mark Boucher, if you could choose any video game character to run for president in 2020, who would it be and what would their campaign slogan be?
That's a great question.
I love that.
Oh, man.
Jeez, that's a hard question.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Video game character to run for president.
And what would his slogan be?
Oh, man, I'm not going to be able to go that deep. That's a good one.
Joseph Seed, let the reckoning begin.
I would say
that's mine.
I would say Commander Shepard from the Mass Effect games, and Monotone is the new
is the new black. I love that monotone. Yeah. Monotone.
Monotone is the new hope.
That's right.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, well done. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Ed.
Wow. Man.
Juck rat and be like, tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock.
Before justice reigns from above.
What a time to be an American.
I don't remember his name, but I'm going to say the lead guy from Saints Row. I forget which one it was, where he became the president.
Oh yeah,
and he
is that from Saints Row the Third or whatever? What's called?
Yeah, one of those. Yeah, I'll do that one.
Christopher, I tried to give you as much time as possible.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Duke Nukem, and I can't say his slogan because it's all blurred out.
I love it.
I am not a nuke.
Oh my gosh,
that's good.
Yeah,
good question, Mark. Thanks for that. We needed that one.
That's funny.
Don Starlancer, what was the last game you restarted immediately, right away, finishing, and what did you love about it so much? I can be a couple days or so later, but basically you couldn't wait to get back in.
Ooh. You know what? Because of the platinum, I restarted Second Son right away.
Dang you, that was my answer.
And I could not bring myself to do the evil side of things.
Oh, I did.
Really?
I did not like it.
The evilest.
I did.
It was great.
I don't like it. As Remy would
liberating.
say, I know like it.
I know like it.
Chris, that was your answer as well?
Yeah, that's the only one that I started right away to do an entire playthrough. There were a couple of other games where, especially if they were more of an open world game, where when I got finished with the main campaign, I just kept playing because I still wanted to stay in that world for a while.
Right.
But the only one that I had was like maybe a linear or narrative based that I started over again to play through the entire thing again right away was Second Son, and it was for the platinum.
Gotcha.
Wow.
You know what? I would have jumped back into, and this is, I don't think this is spoilery, but I'm about to be a little spoilery on Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild.
Okay.
So skip forward 30 seconds if you don't want to hear it. But when you beat Legend of Zelda, it doesn't give you can't run around in the world in a post-Ganon context.
Ah, interesting.
So the castle is still shrouded in his evil clouds.
Shroudness.
And I hated that. For some straight, I was like, if I beat the game, I want him to be gone and me to still be able to do the side stuff. Because the side stuff didn't really have to do, especially since I did the Divine Beast, didn't really have to do with him being there still. You know, there's still evil in the land because it's not just everything's good now the bad guy's gone. And I had a big problem with that. And so I would have jumped right back into Zelda and played some of the side stuff, but I didn't because of that.
Interesting.
Edward?
Nathan, my brother-in-law, and I restarted A Way Out, and we haven't finished it yet, but the plan is to make the exact opposite choice we made going in. So
there you go.
rather than going under the bridge, we'll go over the bridge this time. And so, yeah, we restarted that one pretty much right away.
Router?
Yeah, I'm with you with Second Son, but I also had to restart Telltale's The Walking Dead because there was a corrupt file. So I restarted it immediately. But
wow.
But actually, yeah, Second Son, as soon as that was done, I flipped it and was bad, and it was awesome. I really enjoyed it, actually.
I don't like it.
It was fun.
I didn't like hitting the civilians. I'll say that, but like being evil to the
that was the best part.
DMP or whatever they were called.
And your brother and everything?
Well, you know, he was a jerk.
Was it? I don't remember that.
Well, he was your voice of
the
reason.
evil playthrough, he was a
to-
That's just the mindset you had to put yourself in.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a method game player.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
He's a method game player.
I know like it.
Exactly. Moving on to Facebook, Eric Thompson, if you could pick any person, alive or dead, to be your personal mentor for 6 months of daily 1-hour meetings, who would you pick and why?
Oh,
Another question.
gosh.
Another question for Easter: did you go with ham or prime rib?
I didn't know that was the two choices.
I didn't either.
On the second part, I went with ham.
Yes.
And then on the first part, they could be dead or alive?
Dead or alive for 6 months, 1-hour meetings every day.
That's a tough one because when you say dead or alive, then that opens it up to so many people. I'm gonna go with Max Lucado, who was alive.
Ooh,
and he was a tour pastor for us for a tour we did, and so we actually did get to see him almost every day. And that dude is just who you want him to be.
Yeah.
Oh man, I loved me some. Like by the end of the tour, I was sad to no longer be in Max Lucado's life almost every day.
Wow. There you go.
Going Max Lucado. Ed.
Oh,
we went with ham. Sorry.
You went with ham. Okay.
Yeah, I would meet with ham every day for 6 months.
Yeah, Lucas Ham Swisher.
Meet with ham.
I would probably say Steven Spielberg.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh, that's good.
And just especially after watching Ready Player One, I walked out and I was like, this is a movie made by a guy in his 70s. I was like, that's insane. And so, yeah, I'd say Spielberg.
Did he direct it or just executive produce it?
He directed it.
Gotcha.
Beast. Tim?
Man, I don't know.
That's a hard one.
I know that we didn't go with ham or prime rib for Easter. Lauren made a pot roast and chicken pot pie, and it was delicious.
Ooh, nice.
Oh, it was a nice little twist. So, but we actually had ham the week before, and over at my in-laws because it's what you do.
I actually put some of the remaining ham in my omelet this morning.
Oh, yes.
Nice.
Chop it up real nice.
Yes, I did. I did that.
Nice.
Chop it up real nice.
I did.
That's right.
Got it into them cubes.
That's awesome.
Chris, you gotta. Sorry.
Yeah,
go ahead, Tim.
No, keep going with Chris so I can.
You got
I
one
think
for the.
It would
months?
have to be somebody in the television or film industry. I just don't know exactly who.
J.J. Abrams.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Ooh, I like that.
His mind has to work pretty awesome.
Right?
What I would think.
You know, I would go with.
Even if you just said to JJ every day for 6 months, really? That's how
So
you're gonna end
explain
Lost?
to me again.
Yeah, exactly. One more time. So Jacob does what now? Okay, sorry. Go ahead, Tim.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe I would go with Steve Jobs.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there you go.
'Cause I think he'd be
Ooh, you'd
interesting.
be annoyed.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like he'd be interesting, but I'd probably be really after. Like I couldn't wait for the hour session to be over with because, like, dude, stop talking about yourself. Can we move on?
Yeah.
You
but,
keep calling in sick.
Like,
I'm not gonna make it today.
Yeah, I think I want somebody to inspiring. I always love a good rags to riches story too. Even like a high school dropout who made it, like any one of those type of people. And I'm sure there's tons out there, and they're just escaping me right now.
About the guy from Starbucks.
Danny Trejo?
Yeah, there you go. We could do that.
Howard
too.
Schultz?
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
Albert
any one of those.
Einstein?
I just love those stories. Like even The Rock, man, he's coming from a place where he thought that football was going to be his escape out and his way out, and he didn't make the pros, and then he was broke for a while and had $7 to his name. And that's why his production company is called $7 Productions. And I found that really interesting, and just inspiring kind of people. So I like that stuff.
Man, I like that dude a lot.
Yeah, I do too.
Good dude.
Jeez. I'd love to, like, a lunch with The Rock would be pretty killer.
That would be
Wouldn't it,
pretty
though?
amazing.
Yeah.
I feel like it really would.
I think it would be too.
All right. So next, Eric Cruzen. I have a 7-year-old and an 8-month-old. 7-year-old tries to play games, but she gives up too quick. 8-month-old is more interested in eating my controller. My question is, are all your kids into games, and when did you introduce them to gaming? Side note, I love your show. Listen every week. It's the only podcast I feel safe listening to with the family. And if you ever want to game, PM me for my gamer tag.
Hey,
Oh, nice.
Hey, nice.
So thank you for that. That's very sweet. And
Yeah,
yes,
that's
we
great.
do try and keep it safe listening for the family. We are a family podcast most of the time,
That's right.
but it's all good. Yeah, no, my Piper does not play yet. I don't know if she's going to be, and I'm not going to force it, but if she's interested, of course she's in.
Amen to that.
Yep.
Amara has liked games. Like, she really did enjoy playing Kirby. I feel like she's still a little too young. And I don't know if I feel like I was playing at her age, but it might have been right after her age. Kindergarten, I remember playing for the first time, probably right around now, kindergarten to first grade. But games back then were way easier to play than they are now.
Right.
So to be introduced to Super Mario Brothers is different than, with a D-pad and 2 buttons.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I've started her on the Super Nintendo Classic situation.
I remember Tim Hall back in the day said that one of the first things he's going to do if his kid is interested in gaming is start him with an Atari, wasn't it? He was just going to start.
Or Nintendo's. Yeah, something at the beginning.
One of those to start like day one gaming and work up from there. And I think that's really smart.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Here, Piper, play Far Cry 5. Go.
You won't be watching this one.
That's right.
Good question.
Yeah, great question. Josh Sanders, what is a word that makes you cringe? Safe words only, please. LOL.
Moist.
Yep, me too.
Really?
Well, actually, it bothers Lauren more than me.
That's what I was going to say. Most people that I find that's an issue for them tend to be females. I don't know. I mean,
it just feels
I've
like
never met a guy who thought that word was an issue for them.
Yeah, it just feels like a little damp and dark and wet. Blech.
Gross.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Christopher?
I'm not one of those people that has like a word where it's like, oh, that word, don't use it. I'm just not one of those people.
Oh, I'm not like that. I'm just like,
yeah, but I'm just saying, like, I'm not like, there's not a single word where I'm like, oh man, that word bothers me. Use this one instead. I've almost everybody I know has a word like that, but I don't think I have one.
There you go, Edward.
Ori.
Ooh, well played,
Ori. Good job.
But I don't have one that makes me cringe. Yeah.
There you go. Tim, you say you go with me?
Yeah, I think I'll go with you. It's not. I actually kind of use that word to antagonize Lauren quite a bit because she hates it more than I do. But
that's interesting. Yeah,
it's funny. But yeah, I'll go with that for now. It's fine.
We've got good friends where that's their last name.
Exactly.
And so it's funny hearing them tell people their last names because people are so weird about that word. They're like, so I've gotten more used to it. But if I had to choose a word, that'd be the one.
Exactly. I think knowing them has made it so that word isn't
exactly
for me.
Bad,
exactly.
Right?
It makes me happy. Like, oh yeah,
yeah, I love those guys.
Yep. Corey Ray Swope, if you had to pick one meal to eat over and over again for the rest of time, what would it be?
Over and over, a full meal.
Yeah, one meal.
All right, I feel like my go-to, what I want, my knee-jerk reaction is I want to say pizza. But I think if I'm being honest, what I probably is a better idea for me to go with a pot pie.
Really?
Oh,
yeah,
man.
because
they're
good. You can, whether it's store-bought or homemade, typically, I mean, they're good both ways. And at least they've got a little bit of everything in there. Like you got some vegetables, you got some protein, you got some leafy, carby, good greatness. You got a little all of it.
I like that answer.
I think I'm going all protein. I'm going like eggs and bacon.
Oh, yes. Breakfast food.
I can't. Yeah, breakfast food all day, every day for the rest of time.
What about you, Ed?
I'll do some tacos.
Yeah.
Ooh, tacos is good. I like tacos. Man, that pizza thing is tough.
Yeah.
I really, really love ribs, though.
Oh,
man.
Nice.
Yes.
But I've got a weird thing. I really like eating with my hands. And so that kind of.
I got a really not weird thing. I do not like eating with my hands.
You don't?
I don't like getting messy. Like I won't eat ribs. I just don't like the whole and then wearing a bib and that does not
get all up in there, man.
Yeah, I'm not about that. I'm not about that.
Bib.
I'm a grown man. What do I need a bib
barbecue
for?
sauce and everything everywhere.
I'm a grown
man. It's not a
man.
cartoon.
I'm not doing
No one
that.
wears a bib in real life.
Exactly.
I ain't no toddler.
Yeah, I've been doing this for 36 years, man. Shoot.
I'm a grown man.
I'm not about eating messy stuff. I don't like it. I'm a utensil person.
What about corn on the cob, Chris? Is that messy for you?
Yeah. I mean, I've eaten it before.
Apparently,
but no, I
Chris
don't.
eats like
I'd
a 2-year-old.
I'd rather it not be on the cob.
Here comes the little airplane.
As long as it doesn't make a mess.
That is really funny.
I do not like messes. Do not like it at all.
That's good. Did we get everybody on that? We got everybody on that one, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so.
All right, Fonzie Zo Maldonado. Hello, Four Horsemen.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I like that too.
A lot.
Giddy up, bishops.
That's
right.
I love
We're
it.
here to spread some famine in this piece.
Spread some.
I hope you're hungry because you're gonna be.
Spread some famine. I love it.
I feel like we need to be playing some Johnny Cash right now.
Right.
I don't even know. What does that mean, spread some famine?
Isn't that one of the four horsemen of the apocalypse?
Yeah.
The apocalypse. Yeah, the four horsemen.
Famine.
Oh.
Is it?
I don't know anything about that. I just like the way it sounded. I don't know anything about Four Horsemen.
What?
Yeah.
That was fantastic. Oh, well played. All right, with the new baby and all,
I'm so
I've been trying to get
you, Gabe.
I'm sorry. What is it? Is it from Revelations or something?
Yeah,
I believe so. Yes,
the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. Or you could be talking about Metallica because they were called the Four Horsemen,
right? Is that even a good thing to be called? It's like saying, "Hey,
no,
demons!"
It's like, "Hello, demon," or "Hello, guy, bad guy that lives in heaven." Enjoy.
Oh, is it like that? Oh, then I don't like it anymore.
No, I kind of still like it though.
And death and famine.
Yeah, I think pestilence was one of them.
Oh, yeah. I'm thinking like Three Musketeers. Like,
you're right. Let's go with that. Let's do that.
Conquest, war, famine, and death.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh man, right. I don't want to be the four. I don't like this no more.
I'll be death. I'll be death. I'll play death.
We know which Sunday school classes Gabe skipped.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
I definitely breezed through Revelations. I was like, okay,
yeah,
all right.
Exactly.
What?
It's like, ooh, this is dark,
right? Yeah. I think it was written by Kojima. I'm not sure.
Oh my gosh.
All right, here we go. With the new famine, I mean baby, and all, I've been trying to get my wife to start gaming so that she can get a break from our newborn doing something to help her relax. I know gaming relaxes me, so I want gaming to do the same for her. I was thinking of getting her a Switch because my games on Xbox are too hard for her, it seems. What is your take on this dilemma?
I wouldn't buy a console if you're not sure it's going to relax her.
Yeah.
Like just because it relaxes you, it might not relax her.
I think you should do some more game exploring first.
Hook her up with some phone games.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Like try her on the Candy Crush and all that stuff. See if unless she's already taken the games and he's speaking from a context of where she likes games, but just the ones he owns on Xbox are too tough.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because gaming is not something I would just throw out there as like, my wife's pregnant or we got a new baby and she needs to relax. So I thought video games. Like she must already kind of like video games.
Yeah.
It
sounds
I would say start getting the ones that you guys can play together. Like the Overcooked that Chris and Stacy and them play.
Yeah.
Yep.
And start playing games together and see if that unwinds her first before running out and getting a Switch.
If you do think the Nintendo route, just because of maybe the games to some extent are a bit simpler, at least mechanically, to wrap your head around everything, go get one of those like the SNES Mini or something. That's going to be way cheaper than a Switch.
Very true.
And that could maybe help you figure out like, and if that works out, well, then maybe I'll decide to go get a Switch or something after that. But
yeah, I like that answer as well.
Or just give her a spa day. That might help her relax and then come back and hit her up with some games afterwards. Because then she's relaxed and then she'll probably be more receptive to be like, oh yeah, let's try this. But yeah, it sounds like she's been dabbling in games and he's trying to get her in more into playing games. So. All right, cool. Twitter.
Gotcha. Nice.
Twitter, Nick Cooper. What was your favorite children's book growing up? I liked The Giving Tree by Shel Silverstein. There you go.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Which one's that?
There's a tree, and he would give things to...
Exactly.
I don't know. It's about the kid grew up with
Shel
the tree.
Silverstein's a legend, though, so...
And the tree would, as he would get older, would give him different things.
Interesting.
It's a giving tree.
Yeah, that sounds selfish.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
That kid was a taker. That's for sure.
Yes,
it should have been called the Taking Child.
The Taking Child. The Taking Child from the Giving Tree.
That was a very optimistic title.
Yes.
I was just kidding.
Definitely Where the Wild Things Are for me.
Oh, nice.
I did love that book.
I was a kid. My parents subscribed to whatever the Dr. Seuss thing was at the time, so we always got we always got Seuss books. However, so I don't have a necessarily one that I love, but I love Dr. Seuss just in general. And,
yeah, absolutely.
But we read a book to Amara that somebody gave us, and it was called like The Three Trees or something like that. And
the don't give.
They did not give. They were taken and made into things. But one was like turned into, and you'll see where this is going, but like I forget what all they were turned into, but like two of them, one of them was like turned into a manger, and one of them ended up becoming a barn, and one became like the manger that Jesus was in. And so it's like they got to stay together or something like that. And it was really actually like an emotional book. When me and Jenny read it to Amara, we were like, then so, and then. I don't remember what it was called, but it was. Exactly. Yeah. But it was a really good book.
It's called The Four Horsemen.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a book called The Phantom Toll Booth. I really enjoyed a lot when I
was
a kid.
I remember The Phantom Toll Booth. Yeah.
I didn't know that one.
Chris, did you say one already?
No, mine was Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Chance of Meatballs. There it is.
I loved that book.
That's one of Lauren's favorites.
When I was a kid. I wish I still had it.
Yeah. Tim is the 10 Commandments.
Mine was Genesis, chapter 1.
You love carrying around those stones.
Exactly. Yeah. Just the memories of walking around for so long with them.
Baby, because of that. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
The little golden book of hieroglyphics.
The golden book, yes.
Carrying around that chunk of the Rosetta Stone.
At DSpin67, when starting a game in our difficulty settings, what are you most comfortable with? Easy, normal, or hard?
Wait, Tim, what was your book for real?
my book was Where the Wild Things Are.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. That's right. Yeah, that was a great one, too.
Read the question again, please. Sorry.
At DSpin67, when starting a game and there are difficulty settings, what are you most comfortable with? Easy, normal, or hard? You know me, whatever the default settings are.
I pull routers typically and do whatever the default is, which is usually normal or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah. Yes, normal for sure. I never go change it, ever.
I only go change it if there's a trophy tied to something and I want to get a platinum.
Exactly.
That's the only time I do.
I would almost think like having that right off the gate, right out the gate, you should just, I would think you would always want to start on normal. Then when you beat the game, then you can go like hard, super hard, or really easy. I've never understood why they have it right in front, because if you don't know the game and you don't know the mechanics, why would I be frustrated and go hard right off the bat? I'd rather just do it normal.
Some people like that though.
What's
Sammy says he always changes it to the hardest difficulty or something crazy.
Really?
He's playing. Yeah, I don't remember his reasoning. Besides, I guess he likes being frustrated. I have no idea.
I was going to say, when to throw your controller in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Some people just like the challenge. Better.
Yeah, I'm a right in the middle guy. Because same thing. Like, if I don't really know the game, like, what am I trying to prove here?
Right.
So.
Final question at Frozen Gamer 1987. Have you ever had a weird gaming dream, and what was it about? In my most recent one, Super Smash Brothers was controllable with an actual guitar, and the moves were done by playing chords matching the controller buttons.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Wow. That's
Stop
very specific.
eating whatever you ate before you went to bed.
Right?
Yeah, right?
I don't know if I've had a gaming dream. I did have an amazing dream the other night, though.
Uh-oh.
I don't know how this all happened.
How was I dressed?
Exactly. I got to kick it with Lin-Manuel Miranda for the day.
Oh, nice.
Look at
and,
you.
We just like hung out and got coffee and talked and laughed, and it was awesome.
That's so cool.
I was like, I woke up and literally hit my pillow. I was like, no, dang it. I thought I was kicking it with freaking Lin-Manuel Miranda. We were buds, man. It was a good time.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, it wasn't real. I don't know if I've had a gaming dream before.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
I don't think I have either.
Yeah, I don't think I have either.
Man, we are lame.
I know.
Yep. And what's funny, I don't really remember a lot of my dreams right off the gate. Like I'm sure I get like good REM sleep, but a lot of the dreams I just like, Lauren has very vivid dreams and remembers them all the time. And I don't. Like, I wake up and I'm ready to go and I'm like, I don't remember what happened. But
yeah,
cool,
I'm the same way. I used to remember my dreams all the time. Even into high school, I can remember being able to remember my dreams. And now every now and then I'll remember what feels like, like the last little bit, like right as I woke up, and I kind of remember where I was, but it's just like a few little snippets. It's not like where I can really remember what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that because the dream world is cool. Well, it can be.
I know.
It can also be terrifying.
It can be also terrifying.
Right?
That's funny. Yeah, I remember my dreams for some strange reason. I don't know why. I remember hanging out with Lin-Manuel Miranda. I know that,
man. That's very specific and very cool.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Ed, how about you?
Yeah, I don't really have any video game dreams. I live on my video game dreams in real life.
There you go.
There you go. I like that.
There it is. That's awesome. Well, thank you, everybody, for the questions. That is it.
Yes. Well, to give April Fools its proper due, we're going to ask you the question this week. Have you ever been April Fooled? April 1st is obviously a day full of joking and I'm just kidding and I gotchas. I've never been April Fooled personally, which feels like a waste. Have you ever been April Fooled? Besides things on the internet, I've been fooled on the internet.
Right.
But have you ever been April Fooled? Ed, you ever been April Fooled by anybody?
I think, just the internet is the only thing that's April Fooled me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Chris?
Yeah, I'm the same way. I don't think I've ever been fooled by something outside of like a quick little like, oh my gosh, your mom's around the corner. Ha ha ha. And no, she's really not there. Or something goofy like that. Like,
what in the world?
Yeah, like when you're a kid.
Your mom's around the corner.
Well, I mean, maybe y'all didn't grow up going to daycare. Like I grew up going to daycare, so I couldn't leave until my mom was there to pick me up. And I would have a friend that'd be like, oh yeah, your mom's in the lobby or she's right over there to pick you up. And I'd go over there and they weren't there. So I had to stay longer. So, yeah.
Sounds like abandonment issues.
Yeah, that's really sad.
Right?
But like outside of little things like that, I've never been fooled by anything.
Right. Tim?
Me neither. And if so, it would be something on the internet and be like, let's fact check that real quick. And, because everything the internet's on there is true.
I thought everything was true on the internet.
Right?
I thought whatever you read is true.
Exactly.
They can't print it if it's not true, though, right?
That's what I grew up believing. Mm-hmm. Paul Revere and the whole thing.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
I got to get more of my news from Facebook.
Great idea.
Exactly. Let us know. Have you ever been April Fooled? You guys have had to have been April Fooled out there. So let us know. We'd love to hear about it. And I'm guessing they're going to be hilarious.
Hopefully.
That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Some pregnancy April Fools. Somebody famous got April Fooled by pregnancy this last. Oh, it was one of the guys from Florida Georgia line. His wife brought him a positive test, and they had just had a baby. Like I think their baby's like 4 or 5 months old. And he was like, and he goes, "Well, I guess we're just gonna see how it turns out. That's exciting." She's like, "I'm just kidding." He's like, "How'd you make that stick do that?"
That's awesome.
So
my friend peed on it.
Exactly. I got my pregnant friend. Like, which friend? Because why are you holding it? Ugh, gross.
Right. Put a cap on that. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. Can we get that
You're
out
not
the
wearing
house?
a glove?
Please wash your hands.
Right.
Yeah, no more cuddling for you tonight.
That's right.
Let us know if you've been April Fooled. Use hashtag #AnswerMTTG. We will read those next week. Thank you guys so much for listening. 290 in the books. Oh my gosh. This time last year, 2 years ago, I was freaking out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little more calm this year. We've had a plan for like 6 months.
We didn't have anything planned 10 episodes.
Last are they called the centennial marks?
Mm-hmm.
The last centennial mark, I was like, well, I think we're gonna, pull a rabbit out of the hat. If everything falls apart, I'll get a unicycle and just ride that in front of everybody for a little bit. Yeah, exactly. And I'm juggling. I know.
Look how it turned out. It was glorious.
It's going to be awesome. We can't wait to see everybody.
Yep.
I'm Gabe Patillo. That is Tim Router. That is Ed Placencia. That is Chris McCracken. And we are married to the games and we are up out this thing.
Hit 'em.
Peace.